Hey everyone, GameHounds podcast. We are here. We've got Andrew and we
Howdy.
got Nick, and we are just starting up the show here. Yes, you can tell by the name of the episode, we are absolutely talking about Krafton. I would imagine that's probably going to be most of the show. So even though Nick has probably
I
put
don't
in
know.
15 different topics.
There's a dude. DLSS 5.
Okay.
DLSS 5 has brought me a lot of joy this week.
All right. So
come on. I brought receipts. I have video examples. I was looking for timestamps of you got to see this before and after.
It's awful.
Okay. All right. We will do DLSS 5. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the Krafton thing.
Yeah, definitely.
What do we need to do before the show? Have I got anything, any personal stuff that happened this week? I got my tickets for the Giants, did my ticket draft. So that's set. Nick, we're probably going to be going to some games. Andrew, if you want to come out to California, we're going to probably go some games.
Sure.
Because I have most of a half of a season.
I don't. The Giants, I assume, are football.
No, not in San Francisco. They're not.
They're a
New York Giants.
polo.
Yeah.
They're a polo team.
They're not. They're San Francisco.
They're
Giants.
Badminton.
Baseball. And I have a lot of games and a lot of really interesting games as far as like the giveaways. I got both Hello Kitty keychain and Hello Kitty Funko Pop day.
I was kind of hoping it was a shuttlecock team. I would have driven out for that.
Curling, that's what it is. Did you know that San Francisco, like the Bay Area, is kind of like an American curling mecca?
No.
Like there is a curling like club / team / do you want to learn curling in Oakland? And if I had known that before I was dating Chris, I probably never would have dated Chris. Because I wouldn't have had time, because I have always wanted to learn curling.
You just would have become a curler.
I just know in my heart of hearts that I would be fan-fucking-tastic. And I've known this since high school. I know that I would be an amazing curler.
That'd be down.
I just know it.
That'd be fun.
Really? You want to try curling with me? Okay, we'll go curling.
It's one of the best sports in the Winter Olympics.
Yeah. Hey, listen, curling, if you've ever seen the vintage Olympic video of curling back in the day, where you'd have Olympian athletes, air quote, Olympian athletes competing on the ice for their country's gold medal with cigarettes hanging out of their mouth while they're not on the sidelines, while they're doing it. They got a cigarette hanging out of their mouth while they're scooting out on the ice, letting that thing go.
It keeps them focused, you know. It's a performance-enhancing drug.
Yeah, I almost gonna want to bring it up so you can see it. And it's like, that is absolutely my sport. Not that I would have a cigarette hanging out of my mouth while I'm curling, but I like to be good at a sport that has that in its DNA. That at some point that was it is possible, and were it not for society and health reasons, I could do it now.
I feel like that's every sport in the 40s or 50s is basically people with cigarettes hanging out of the mouth. That's how I imagine American life back then.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to
you've got people on the football field with the leather helmets, and he's like throws it onto the field and then hike.
Yeah. They might have done that back in the day, on the sideline, having a cigarette between, maybe, offense, defense on the football team. Yeah.
Maybe not like in the official games, but like in the high school football. Absolutely.
I'm surprised AC Wraith hasn't just linked. Like, he did San Francisco Giants, but just all of the sports we've been listing and like wiki artists, everything.
Just
Yeah, I'm trying to
Wikipedia for lacrosse, badminton,
Yeah, there we go.
football, baseball.
There
the
we
Curse
go.
of Labonte.
All right, here we go. Here is the sport that if I was ever going to be good at an Olympic sport, this is the sport I would be fantastic at. Let me come on. There we go. All right, and we're bringing it up, add to the stage. All right, this is it right here. Look at this. Cigarettes in mouths.
Oh wait, they're using actual brooms.
Oh yeah, you use a broom.
No, but literal brooms.
Yes,
oh yeah, it's
you
changed.
use a literal broom.
Huh.
I mean, to this day, now they actually use the brooms are more like rakes.
Oh,
there
no,
was
the brooms are like
there's
Swiffers.
a fantastic.
They're Swiffers, not brooms.
Yeah, these were brooms.
Huh.
If you ever want to watch a fantastic or listen to a fantastic podcast, there was a podcast about Broomgate. Look at that guy. I mean, like, and
I mean, wasn't it like not this year, but like 2 years ago that the people who won this just looked like a bunch of dads who
yeah, there you go. Cigarette in mouth. Ah, gotta love it.
Okay, so I gotta say,
yes.
I think one of the reasons that curling has like gained in popularity is they got rid of these brooms, because when they're sweeping those brooms hard, they look so stupid.
Yeah.
Look at the way they go.
Quick aside,
But yeah, if you ever want to see a really good video or listen to a really good podcast, look up Broomgate. Absolutely riveting. That it was a scandal that rocked the curling world, and it is done by the guy who kind of accidentally started Broomgate.
It shocked dozens of people.
But it was to the point where you had this friendly curling community. Apparently it was very friendly. Everybody knew anybody, they drink before, they drink afterwards. They're all, and we're talking about professional curlers, not amateur curlers, but professional curlers. And it broke the community. It broke worldwide. It broke the community. And
like
it, like
when
I said,
two
it was
friends
done by the
break up and you have
podcast.
to pick a side.
Yes. Oh, yes. And it was vicious. It turned so toxic. And like I said, it's the guy who kind of accidentally started the beef. And it was about this new cutting edge broom. And it destroyed curling and still hasn't recovered from it.
That's funny.
It's really good. So I forget the name of it, but just look up
AC
podcast
Ray,
Broomgate. You'll find it.
Put a link in the chat. It's called Broomgate, a curling scandal.
Yes, Broomgate, a curling scandal.
What was your short aside?
Oh, someone in the chat. It's in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but it's a Cuero Injusticia. I can't. I butchered that probably, but essentially, I want justice because I go to. I just Googled
I think
it.
that's actually Portuguese. It looks like
Portuguese.
It's Portuguese, yeah.
Yikes.
Which is something.
Don't listen to me. It's terrible.
The only word I know in Portuguese is we would have travelers when
I want justice.
Speaking a foreign language, and somebody would say,
"I feel like that's spam." Although that's not a spam name.
It's referencing to the title about Krafton.
Oh,
Krafton.
Yeah, which we got really far from. I just want to say I agree. And once we get there, everyone should buy 3 copies of this game. Just
coming out in May.
Krafton.
Yep,
we got to talk about that. That's part of the story.
All right. So shall we actually do the show and get off of curling and cigarettes and everything else and start the show? All right, let's start the show. Wait for it.
This podcast discusses video games, pop culture, and technology, and these podcasters have big, fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom said to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 813. We are recording this on Sunday, March 22nd, 2026. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DeNicola and Andrew Smith, and we are ready to go about the Krafton thing, but we're going to talk about reviews first. But then we're going to have a lot about what went down in the state of Delaware, I believe it was, with the lawsuit with Unknown Worlds and Krafton and Subnautica and all of that. So, and also other stuff. And yeah.
Is Krafton just like based out of Delaware?
No, Krafton's South Korean.
South Korean. Unknown Worlds is probably incorporated in Delaware because that's where a lot of companies incorporate in, like our company is incorporated. Yeah. We're a California corporation, but we got incorporated in Delaware.
It's like 60 or 70% of all companies are out of Delaware because you can basically just like assign a PO box to it, and you you have a company. Also,
and they have is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Also, it's very business friendly. So, like, when people sue and stuff, and you want like the best ground that you can get, you sue in Delaware.
And I think that there's tax reasons, and I should know this, but I don't. I think that Delaware doesn't have a corporation tax, so you don't have to pay corporation taxes, which are not insignificant.
Before we get into that, I just want to say, like, a little behind the scenes thing in this thing, StreamYard. When you're doing a podcast or a show, you can see little like thumbnails of what people have queued up to put into the stream. So while that whole opening was going, I just kept watching little guys sweep back and forth from the video that you put away. It was like, that's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous watching it normally, but tiny wise, just watching little people sweep like in the thumbnail for it. It's very distracting.
Yeah, that's why I turned it off, because it was distracting me too.
Well, I
don't know if the curling conversation is going to make it into the podcast, but we were talking about curling before the show.
The video is still primed to be loaded in. You're still sharing it. It's just not on the screen, so we can see it at the bottom.
Yeah, and it's just little people sweeping. Like,
it's playing on a loop at the bottom of the screen.
So a little behind the scenes. So maybe this won't make it in. If you cut it, that's fine. But I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I had to turn it up. That's why I stopped it, because my eyes kept on going down to little people sweeping.
Also, I still don't accept opening stepdad. He's not my dad. My dad is the one that you had for years for the GameHounds opening.
You don't like fake Morgan Freeman?
I don't like fake Morgan Freeman. I miss the original one. But that's because I've listened to it probably hundreds of times.
Yeah, I mean, that was voice generation from almost 20 years ago at this point. And I think that voice's name was called Robert.
Okay. Well, Robert's my dad. It is the most stepdad name in the world, but he's mine.
All right.
Okay,
so let's talk games.
AC Wraith said that he's been playing Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
Big download. Runs better than Star Wars Outlaws, which he's currently refunding.
Well, Jedi Survivor
and he says he's playing it on a mechanical drive too. So,
I think Jedi Survivor came out way
that's a
sooner.
normal hard drive. Yeah, Jedi Survivors came out before Outlaws, but they're not. It's the same generation of games. It shouldn't be that different.
Sure, but I think we're actually making the move into just using solid states now. A lot of companies are just like...
Yeah, really? Is that necessary on PC? Because I know consoles use the solid state drive, but I didn't... How many games require that for...
Well, like Crimson Desert requires an SSD.
Okay. Outlaws is the first game with an SSD in its minimal specs. Okay.
Yeah.
It's becoming just more... necessary as we move into the later stages of the PS5 generation, because consoles has always dictated what was like required for the most part, and I think they mostly have SSDs. I think once Xbox moves over entirely to SSDs, that'll just become the default. It goes back to the Helldivers 2 story. I don't know if you guys covered this when they decreased their download size from 150 gigabytes to 22.
I don't know if we talked about that in depth.
We didn't.
Essentially, they were doing tech blogs, and Helldivers, it doesn't need 150 gigs, but it was that size. And the reason for that was because when you program a game that's supposed to run on SSDs for a mechanical hard drive, apparently the way the industry does it is they load multiple copies of the game onto your mechanical hard drive so that they are downloading and running data sequentially. So like,
okay.
or in tandem.
That makes
I don't know.
sense. It's kind of a kludgy way to do it, but it makes sense that it would work that way.
So that way you're loading like 4 parts of a thing instead of it trying to load one super fast thing. And that requires having multiple copies of the game on your hard drive to run and load. So as we move away from that, maybe we'll see a shrinkage in space on some games.
Would be nice.
Sorry, really boring stuff, I know, but
it's not boring. So, also not boring. What games have you been playing? We'll start with Nick.
I mean,
actually, no. We'll start with Chaos. Oh, you did play Crimson
of
Desert?
Course I did. Dessert? Oh.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it. Maybe that's what
I've been playing Crimson Desserts, you know, Red Velvet, raspberry,
Desert has
cherry,
double chocolate brownie.
Yeah. Nice raspberry sauce. But yeah, Crimson Desert. It's what I thought it was. It is a big, expansive, crazy, mechanically complex, almost overly complex. Early on, you get this mission to sweep someone's chimney, and they give you a broom, and you equip the broom. You climb onto their house. You climb onto their chimney. You hold L1 to ready the broom. You aim at the chimney, and then you hit L2 to sweep the chimney. And you sweep the chimney, and you clear it, and then they give you
it's a curling game, is what you're saying.
But like that's one thing. I don't think you ever need to do that again. But that's the kind of game this is, where it kind of mechanicizes. It turns every interaction into a mechanic in a way that I find really compelling and interesting and fun. I enjoy climbing onto a house and mechanically sweeping a chimney. But the rest of the game is an action adventure. You could say it's an RPG, but there's like no stats that you have to deal with. It's an RPG in the way that Monster Hunter is, where all of your progression comes from equipment, whether it's upgrading equipment or getting new equipment. You're not increasing stats, but you do have a skill tree that lets you do more things. You know, you unlock a parry, you unlock a counter, you unlock new moves with a sword, new moves with spears, all that stuff. But the game is just big, and it's been described as like an everything game of, oh, you can do everything. Early on, you enter a bank, and the guy's like, oh yeah, if you have gold bars, you can invest the gold bars in the bank, and we will create an investment strategy for you. Do you want an aggressive investment strategy, a safe investment strategy? So you can invest gold in the game to, I don't know, get more money. I don't have enough money to actually invest yet. I'm poor, but that's an option. There was some other thing that I encountered where I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I don't know if I'll do that for another 20 hours, but it's interesting to know I can do that. You can pick up every animal. You can pet every animal. At one point, some kid had his goat stolen. So I went to a bandit camp, murdered all the bandits, and then I picked up this goat, and I'm just running across, you know, the fantasy landscape with this goat on my shoulder, and his head is just like bopping up and down. And I bring it to the kid, and the kid's like, that's not Wooly. Wooly has a fluffier tail. I'm like, well, fuck you, kid. Fuck you.
As you say this, the video on screen just had the characters save a cat from the top of a building for a little girl. Sorry, go on. Sheep story still.
Yeah. It's, and those are the things that will take you through the game. I think those kind of one-off interactions, those fun little emergent moments of realizing, man, I'm just carrying a goat across the landscape. Or like I'm carrying the goat and I realize, oh man, the kid's like up on this mountain over there. I jumped off that mountain to get down here, but now I need to find a way back up while carrying a goat. What am I going to do? And those are the things that are compelling about the game. The story is, it kind of starts off seeming like it might be interesting. You're a Greymane, which is just like a faction in this world, and you get ambushed by the Black Bears, which is another faction, and they fuck you up. Like I'm talking, they grab your character by the head, slit his throat, hold him up as he bleeds out, and then throw him in a river. So there's no question you got murked, you got slaughtered, you got killed. But then with no explanation, you fall into the water, it kind of fades to black, and then it fades in, and you're sitting on a little bed in a cot, sitting on a cot, like outside of this castle, and you've got a scar on your neck. But there's no explanation of who found you or anything like that. You're just kind of tossed into the world to, I don't know, play. There's some it's like kind of teased that, oh, you might want to try to rebuild the Greymanes, because I'm like a couple hours in and some characters have hinted like, oh, there's another Greymane over here, and one of my missions is to go find them. And people have mentioned, oh, hey, once you get a house, once you get a farm, once you get like a plot of land, we'll supply you. So it's clear that it's building towards, rebuilding the Greymanes. But at this point in the game, that's all very vaguely hinted at. The larger story is that I basically encountered some gods. I gave money to a beggar, and turns out he was like a god that said, hey, the balance of worlds is out of whack. You can save the world, but in order to save the world, just like do some nice things. Like big events start small. So just go help people. Just like, go be a cool dude. And that's what you do. You go around this opening farmland, just kind of finding people who need your help, which is a very
do some nice things. That's the whole point. Do nice things.
That's like now.
And that's a very typical RPG system. Oh, you're gonna get to watch him sweep the chimney.
Really? Yay! Chimney sweeping.
Peak podcasting.
Peak gameplay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like helping people is a typical RPG thing. That's what you do in any video game. That's what you do in any open world. But to have it be a central part of the narrative that, oh, you need to bring the land together, and to do that, just like help people out. Like, be cool. And that is your narrative excuse to just go wander and explore and see what you can do. And that, I know that a lot of people, there's a lot of hype around this game. And a lot of people were expecting it to be more than what it is. Because what it is really more Breath of the Wild than Witcher. Or I guess it could be closer to Elden Ring, but the combat is not as good as Elden Ring. But it's that kind of game where the pleasure comes from just exploring the world and seeing what's around the next corner. It doesn't come from the narrative or the story. I think the cutscenes are well done. Whenever the characters talk, whenever you get like, someone asking you to help sweep a chimney, the voice acting is really good. And so for those reasons,
and it's not AI.
It's not AI. No. In fact, there's a lot of this game that reminds me of Where Winds Meet. It feels like a bigger budget, more solo focused Where Winds Meet. And so that includes Where Winds Meet use a lot of AI voices. This game does not. This game has better graphics. It has better voice acting, has better controls. It has a better combat. It's just like a bigger budget, kind of more expansive, more streamlined version of that game.
Well, and I want to discuss that here in a minute. Just watching this guy trying to.
He needs to get on top of the chimney. There you go. You got to get on top of the chimney.
To be fair, that is a clear criticism that everyone has right now. Is the controls are very kludgy.
They're kludgy, but like here's the thing, I kind of love it because I remember back in the day when I first got into RPGs, I was like, "Oh, Final Fantasy VII, this is really cool. I want to play the next game." I picked up Final Fantasy VIII, and I'm like, "Wait, the magic system is completely different. What the fuck? What is going on?" And there was a joy in having to relearn an entirely new system for each game. And it's like, oh, I got so used to this one thing, and now I have to switch over. And I kind of like that. There's a lot of this game that also reminds me of Dragon's Dogma, which was an open world RPG game that's like, yeah, there's a lot about that game that is kind of mechanically weird and a little unintuitive, and the controls are a little kludgy, but that game was just like, deal with it. And if you do, you get a really interesting experience. And
yeah,
like, so I'm sympathetic to the criticism about the controls because they're very different. There's also like a lot of button combinations that you got to do. And like I said, because it kind of turns a lot of interactions into mechanics, there's a lot that you have to keep track of. Like right now, he's cutting down a tree. And to cut down a tree, you have to first buy a logging axe. Then you have to equip the logging axe. Then you have to make sure to hit the tree at a horizontal swing to cut it down. Then a vertical swing to break it into timber. So like, there's a lot, but I love that it's a lot because it's a game that takes a lot of the typical interactions, and instead of making them easy, it kind of makes them hard. And that gives it a different flavor of game.
It's
texture.
Unique.
It's different. As someone that plays a lot of games, I deeply appreciate a game that is fucking weird and offbeat and not like a lot of the other stuff I play. And I'm sympathetic to the fact that if someone doesn't play a lot of games, like if they play one game a year, which is, most people, this game is going to be hard to get into because it's so unlike anything else they played before.
AC Wraith points out that controls have gotten pretty standardized, and people complain if it isn't like the popular game that they're used to.
Yes, that's true.
There is truth to this, but understand that this goes beyond that in a lot of ways with the criticism. So there's a see the past echoes of something, like mini game type, like world searching tool. And to use this, you have to go into your inventory, equip a helmet. Then you have to bring up an item wheel to get to the helmet, which requires pressing L1 and R1. And then you have to then press the start button to activate its ability. So
God, that sounds
it's like
awful.
4 layers deep. And if you forget about this helmet or how to equip it and use it, that is admittedly a problem. That being said, they did not shy away from any of these type of button prompts and stuff.
Yeah.
They just went whole hog on it.
They went whole hog, and I'm still
it's
just
like
getting
guap.
into it.
It's guap. It's medieval guap.
Yeah, kind of. The character, oh man, I gotta say, I know people have been complaining about the way the character moves because he kind of moves slow. I
like that.
I love it. He's got such a weight to him, and when he walks, it's like, fuck yeah, he's got to walk.
I've always appreciated games that add weight to the character where you don't feel so floaty.
Yeah, and feels, it's so good. And the combat, I've been enjoying the combat so far. I think at first it feels just like a real button mashy hack and slash, but as you get more moves and as I kind of figure out what the button combinations are, I've played a lot of Where Winds Meet, and Where Winds Meet has attack on the square button on the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
When the combat gets real heavy, when I'm surrounded by a bunch of people, I find myself instinctually pressing the square button, and my character just jumps. and then I get attacked by 20 people. I'm
That's
like,
fun.
oh shit. But I kind of like that. I like that I'm having to retrain my brain. And the more moves that I get, that I focus on doing, the more I have found the combat to be really compelling. And there's a lot of really deep, impressive animation work in the combat. The way some moves link into other moves, like the way the animations combine together dynamically, it's like Naughty Dog levels of animation.
I have to say that this game is almost seems like an exercise in excessive gluttony, and just if it was on the board during the brainstorm, they put it in the game.
Mm-hmm.
A quick rundown for the game for anyone who doesn't know yet. It's made by the same people who made Black Desert, the MMO.
Yeah.
It's a Korean-based MMO that is known for being very grindy, but very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Like super grindy, super pay to win.
That's too bad, because I remember when it first came out, that character creator was something special. It was heads and tails above anything else on the market.
It is very pay to win, but it's South Korean MMOs tend to be kind of this way. Anyways, I bring this up because it is not like that, and like this is a single player open world game. From what I understand, the company, the development team went out and made this engine like a fork of it to be for a single player open world game from their Black Desert
oh, really? So they kind of knew that this was happening, or they had that in their mind that this might be a possibility.
Yeah,
when
like
they were
just
making Crimson Desert.
Yeah, they were just like, no.
Sorry, Black Desert.
That I don't know, but like when they decided to make Crimson Desert, they were like, okay, we're going to make our own engine for this. We're gonna do our own thing for this. So they purpose built this for single player open world.
Okay, I see.
And it makes sense that this comes from an MMO developer, because there's a lot of that DNA in this, in the same way that MMOs turn a lot of basic interactions into mechanics, because the idea is that you don't have to do anything, just find one thing that you like and embrace that, but there's all these other mechanics you can do. And that's what a lot of this game is.
That's kind of why I brought it up, because like I think that DNA is strong here, of just you look at this and it's like, oh, this is very MMO coded. And I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if it's just this was the game they wanted to make, where it was like, we want to put everything into this.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, they've been making one type of game for so long that they made a different flavor of that type of game.
And good on them. Like, I will say that when I saw trailers for this game, and it was coming from, a company, a real development team, being the people who make Black Desert, I thought this was fake. I thought this was fake until it launched. The trailers for these games, this game in particular, is so incoherent in its style, and it's like 1 second you're fighting like some bandits, the next you're on a dragon, then you're in a mech suit, then you're in a jetpack, and then you're in some fantasy ruin, like future ruins. And so understand that when you play this, the themes are crazy. It is not just this medieval like fantasy settings. There is floating sky moat, retro future magic civilization tech stuff. There's going to be cyberpunk, like you walk around in a mech or get a jetpack. There's mounts that are range from I think like a motorcycle to dragons. Like, it is such an MMO. I'm
gonna see if I can find any of that stuff later.
But also know that you won't see any of that for like 30 to 40 hours. You'll see the magic stuff, because I think the cyberpunk sci-fi aspects to it are this world's version of magic and gods. Because like I said, I've been to the Sky Islands, and that's where the god people, and when I say gods, I'm talking about like the Greek gods of, oh yes, you gave this beggar some money, and he's like, you're a hero, I like your style, so I'm gonna task you with saving the world. And early on, you meet this woman who's like got her hands tied behind her back in this dungeon, and you untie her, and she's like, "You saved me. Good. I have missions for you later." And then she disappears, and it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, that. This game kind of uses sci-fi as its version of godly magic, which I think is, again, a cool touch. It's a unique world that is unlike anything else I've seen, and that's why I'm really digging it. There's a lot about the game that is like genuinely hard to get into.
If I had a few extra things for people consider buying this, no. Apparently, it's 196 hours to roll credits.
Oh my god!
Consider this when you buy it. It is long, and in the trailers when you watch it, there's going to be these different characters and like.
Yeah, you do play as different characters,
but they're not. You don't switch characters in like the real sense, and where, like the main character here is Cliff, the kind of not Irish, Scottish, like kind of.
Oh yeah, thick ass Scottish accent, like fucking Outlander, Highlander, like we're talking Braveheart levels of Scottish accent. No one else has
it. Proclaimers, I would walk 5,000 miles.
Oh, more than that.
Oh wow!
Oh, if you could get like a voice clip of him or something.
But he's the main character. He's who you play the main story with. However, there are side stories where you get to play other characters, but they're more like little quests rather than.
I'm going to go play them. Can you not take them into the open world?
I'm not sure if they can't go into the open world as much as like they can't do the story beats that your character is supposed to do.
I mean, look, if they can't do the main missions, I think that kind of makes sense. But like I said, there's so much more to this game than the main missions. A lot of this game is the fun of just, I'm going to go east. I'm just going to start walking and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see what I run into. I'm going to see who I find. And that's the type of game this is. And so if one of the other characters you happen to like more than Cliff, that just means don't play the story missions, which honestly, I don't think you're missing out on too much.
I think they're just kind of encapsulated into their own like mini campaigns. Like I don't even know if you can go do the side quests that you can do with Cliff.
That would be
this video. Just it's a cutscene of him just pounding somebody in the face.
I know. Oh man, you can do bounties. And when you find a bounty, you tackle them, and you just he's like, wait, I don't know. Who are you? Wow. You got the wrong person. Wow.
If you're willing to put up with some kludginess, if you're willing to learn, I think this is good value for a $70 game.
Oh,
if this looks interesting. Yeah, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think I'm really, really enjoying my time with it. And again, that's because I knew what I was getting into. We had played a demo of it at PAX last year. And so I had kind of gotten a taste of the wild ass controls of, I need to lift this big log. Let me equip a magic, hold 2 buttons to lift, hold another button to hold, and then one of 3 buttons to put down. And it's like, okay, that's a lot. But I really love the game is it's getting generally good reviews. It's got like an 80 on Metacritic, like slightly lower, but it's in that range. I really love that type of game, that CB game, a game that does a lot of weird and different things, but isn't quite perfect. There's something really fascinating to me about that type of game that just swings for the fences and misses.
I do want to say that I think this gets that rating, if nothing else, because of quantity. The amount.
Because you'll find something that you like. There are so many different things to do. You'll find something that's really fun.
And to be fair, it's not just quantity over quality here. There is a lot of quality too.
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, I'm really enjoying the combat. I'm enjoying the side quests. I'm enjoying the world. I'm just spending time in this world and walking around it.
It sounds like a game that was. It would sound like a game that was trying to be all things to all people and actually sort of manages it.
Yeah. So, okay, this is also Crimson Desert 2 is like going to revolutionize the industry because I look back on things like Uncharted. The first Uncharted game, people were like, yeah, this is good. Uncharted 2, game of the year. Everyone freaked out. Everyone loved it. Assassin's Creed. The first Assassin's Creed, people were like, yeah, it's good. It's a little repetitive, but, there's something here. Assassin's Creed 2 fucking took the world by storm. Started a franchise. Oh, God, there were other games. But, like, it's always the second game. I think God of War.
Baldur's Gate. Not necessarily the second game, but the third game, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Well, 2 did the same thing at the time. Like 2 also
kind of did, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the first one is kind of a proof of concept, and then that concept gets refined for the sequel, and that's when it really breaks out. The Witcher. The first Witcher, nobody plays the first
I played
Witcher.
the second one, though.
I played the second one, too.
I played Witcher 1. It was all right.
No one likes Witcher 1. Witcher 2 is good. Witcher 3 is great. But even then, people forget that, like, when Witcher 3 first came out, people didn't like the movement. People didn't like the inventory. It was the story that really pulled them through.
Anybody played the original GTA?
Oh, yeah, the top-down ones?
Yes.
God,
and then
yes.
GTA 2. Those are both, like, right?
Yeah. And games. So I think it's nice to see a game that comes out, like, games now there's so much money behind them that you kind of don't get that iteration. You can't put out a good Uncharted.
They have to succeed with one.
It's like, yeah, they have to succeed the first time. And like, that's a bad place to be. That's not good for creativity in the industry. You need to be able to iterate on ideas. And so I think this is that type of game. I hope it sells well, and I hope it does really good so that they can iterate on it for a 2. But I think the hype around it and the reception to it being good and not a masterpiece kind of highlights the fact that, a lot of the games we think of as masterpieces didn't, like, it took work to get to that point. They didn't just come out fully formed. And games don't have that opportunity now.
I will say that apparently they sold 2 million copies in one day. And
wow,
the devs said that they're going to work on making some changes quickly. So some of this may eventually get rounded out.
Yeah, which is exactly what you expect to happen. Like I said, the Witcher 3 example came out, people liked it, but people had complaints. The complaints were patched out. Now everyone forgets about it.
2 million is a fantastic day one at $70 a piece. That's $140 million. So I really hope that this is minus taxes cuts from like various platforms and stuff. But it's a lot. And I think you're right, Nick. I think whatever this ends up finishing as will be pretty good regardless. But more focus, more experience with the engine and what they want. I think the second game, it doesn't even have to be this. The second game they make with this engine, and the feedback that they take with this game has the potential to be huge. Because I kind of like all the stuff that I see with it. Apparently, in-game is really great. Once you have all your skills, all your systems, stuff like that, it really becomes something different and becomes great.
Yeah, we got to play around with like a mid-game character in the PAX demo, and man, I had so many more abilities than I do now. But I kind of like that because I think of Kingdom Come, and the best part of Kingdom Come is the beginning when you're poor, you have terrible equipment, you're afraid to fight people on the road. You have to struggle. And then after 70 hours, I've got great armor, I've got a great sword, I'm good at fighting, I'm just killing people left and right. And that's fun. But at a certain point, I kind of think, oh man, I missed the struggle. So I'm I'm taking my time in these early games, kind of appreciating the struggle of not having all my magic.
And again, 196 hours to roll credits. So
yeah, I don't know if I'll even do that.
That's a lot of struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that in mind if you buy the game. That's all.
All right, so that's a lot about Crimson Desert. Any other games? Thank you for the link to the Proclaimers. Any other
we played some Toxic Commando last night.
Yeah.
What was that? There.
Wow, you even linked QWOP and GURP.
Wait, what's GURP?
I don't know what GURP is. What is GURP? I guess is that another one?
It's a FODdy game.
Yeah, but I hadn't heard of it. Oh, it's a climbing. It's like instead of walking, it's climbing.
Oh, okay. So,
Grip.
it's Grip.
It's
okay,
Grip.
all right. That I know. Grip, I do know. That's the one with the where the guy in the pot with the sledgehammer.
That's Getting Over It.
What am I?
Oh, that's right. That's Getting Over It.
Oh man, no, I started playing GURP, and I think I'm gonna drown. Come on, how do I lift? How do I lift my hands? Oh, there we go. Come on, grab that ring.
Stop playing a game during the show, Nick. Stop.
Yes, I got it. Nope.
Okay. Toxic Commandos.
Toxic Commando. Tell me more about Toxic Commando, because I have tried. I was saying to Nick and Andrew, I have tried 4 times to get through the tutorial, and every single time some emergency comes up that I have to stop playing and move on. It's frustrating as hell, including last night where Andrew waited an hour and a half for me to get on, and the PC gods were not my friend. So I still have to do the tutorial. I've started the tutorial like 6 times, like 4 times, like literally 4 times. But I now have to get through that so that we can all play together. So tell me more about what is beyond the tutorial.
I want to preface this before we get into this, because there are things to consider about this game. I think it's fun. I think it's a good time. But I do want to say that anything we say, it's $40 base edition, so it's not even like a $60, $70 game. And if you have Space Marine 2, or if you have World War Z, which are 2 other games by Saber who use the same tech that this game uses, on Steam you can get like $10 off the game. So,
FYI, if I bought it on PS5, and I tried several times to get through it on PS5 unsuccessfully. Yesterday, I went onto Steam because the PC, I only had the
PS5 too?
No, it wasn't problems with the PS5. It's that some emergency came up, like somebody called me and I have something I need you to deal with, or Claire calling me saying, I'm coming over to go swimming. Something happened that interrupted me, that I had to put it away. Yesterday, putting on a PC, on Chris's PC, that's where I started actually encountering some problems, because I'd download it and then it wouldn't play nicely with my headset for a little bit. Finally got it to work, and then it was like, all right, it's now 7:30, we got to go get dinner. So I didn't get through it. When I went on to Steam, if you buy it on Steam, it's $40. But if you buy it with DayZ, it's $35. So you get 2 games for $35 or 1 game for $40. Sorry, was it World War Z? Okay.
They want to give you a discount for the game. It's what I'm getting at. So keep in mind that when we discuss things, that's the price range we're talking about. So we're not talking about a full $60, $70 game. Not that it's bad. I just want to make sure that's clear up front.
It feels like a smaller game in that it's a Left 4 Dead like. Which is, hey, there's
it's definitely that
7 levels of, zombies coming at you, different difficulties, but it's no Crimson Desert. It is no 200-hour extravaganza, but also that's okay because it's fun to hop in for, 30, 40 minutes and just blast some zombies.
There was an emphasis when they made this game because like the presentation's great. Like on the screen now, you can kind of see it. I think everything looks good. The game runs really well. It is what it is, like very much so. It is a 4-person co-op zombie shooter, and they knew what they were making, and they planned around that.
Yeah.
There's emphasis on just playing the game, and you get various classes and guns and stuff. And as you level up the guns, you can buy attachments for it, and you spend this currency that you use collecting through the missions. However, once you prestige to unlock skins, and we'll get more into this here in a bit, the prestiging system just unlocks skins, but you have to like give up your attachments and reset the guns. It is about that grind of just playing through the missions, playing on harder difficulties eventually, leveling up your classes and skills, making your builds, and playing with your friends. And the game runs nicely and is fun.
Yeah. And I think it's important to talk about what sets it apart from Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood.
Yes.
Each level is a big open world, and there's a lot of focus on vehicles, which is fun. Vehicles with a winch. A winch is important in a lot of levels. You have to use a winch to pull open a door. Sometimes you're driving through mud and you get stuck and you need to use a winch to pull yourself out of the mud. If you've got 2 cars, you can use one to pull yourself out and then winch the other car out. And at one point last night, we had a convoy of 3 cars driving across the map, which adds a different flavor to the proceedings because I'm just going along. I got some guy on the turret blasting zombies, and I'm just driving. Oh shit, you walked away. I'm running over zombies. I think that overall, it's less, at least on normal, it's less difficult than Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood were. Those games, I remember them being much sweatier. Whereas this game, and maybe it's just a fact of playing with Andrew, you and your friend who were much higher level, but there was a casual fun to it where I wasn't like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. God, like there were moments of excitement and closeness, but nothing of, oh, we're all gonna die, we're all gonna fail. This is really difficult. It's just fun. The guns feel really good. All of the guns, the shooting feels good. The zombies come at you in a way that feels good to shoot them. The movement feels good. I talked a lot about how I appreciate the weird controls of Crimson Desert. This game just has the first-person shooter controls. Hey, you know the Call of Duty controls that everyone knows that you're used to? This has them, and it recreates them in a way that feels really good. Just the act of playing is fun and
they nailed it with this game.
Yeah, they nailed the gameplay.
And you say that we were higher level, but we were both leveling up other classes because there's 4 classes.
Okay.
There's a class called the Strike, which shoots fire. So you end up through plot contrivance, basically getting superpowers in a way, and it can be one of your 4 classes. And one of them is called the Strike. It's like your standard DPS class. They shoot fireballs that explode, and as you level, you can unlock different ways that the fireballs will explode, and different passive effects for your character, just different things. But that's primarily your ability. The second one would be Defender, which is a tank that can throw up with a shield that'll stop projectiles, and if enemies are inside of it, it'll zap them. You can eventually choose to have it just follow on top of your character, or you can place 3 smaller versions, stuff like that. There's a classic medic that'll heal you, and then nothing else really unique there. And then one that has a flying turret, and you can change the way eventually that the turret shoots stuff, between just little individual blasts, or in this case, last night, Nick unlocked the ability to shoot essentially dragon breath shotgun rounds at stuff.
Yeah,
and it's really cool.
That was useful, and the skill trees are pretty advanced. I had set it up so that The shotgun blast obviously shoots slower than a machine gun, but there's also a stat to increase the fire rate. So I did the fire breath plus fire rate so that it's just shooting out shotgun blasts even faster. And the fact that you can kind of create these very specialized builds, that's a good skill tree.
Yeah. And when you like play a new class, you have to level up from 0 or 1. So like Nick, we were leveling up level 1 classes with you for that one.
Okay.
Anyways, go on.
Yeah, it's just fun game. And we got Pilot Chris bought it, so Edie, you now have to join us.
Okay, I will join you.
Ignore all of those emergencies.
I will.
The apartment's burning down next time. Nope, I promised I'd play.
Yeah, someone wants to go swimming, just let them swim without supervision. That's fine.
Quick caveats, though.
If it was my kid, yes, but it's not my kid, so I don't want to do that when it's not mine.
It's not your kid, not your responsibility.
I didn't buy it. I don't get to break it.
Nick says big open worlds. They're not really that big, though.
That's true. Yeah, they're sizable. They're big enough that you get in a car and you drive.
I want to break down the mission structure a bit.
GameHounds 682. Nick and Edie must play Toxic Commando on weekend of release. Damn it.
Yeah, I remember that.
I hate AC Wraith. You're fired. Fired.
So when you're playing the game, you get a mission, and it'll tell you where to go. And sometimes you might need a vehicle or something that has a winch, but not often. So you can head straight for objectives and do them. And you can be out in like 10, 15 minutes if you want. However, the exploration is incentivized because you go around collecting the like resources to buy skins, attachments, stuff like that. There's a particular objective that lets you find this like seed that if you can make it out with the game, you'll get more experience. There's a reason to hit up that one. And various equipment caches and stuff like that across the map. And sometimes they'll have what's called spare parts. Spare parts are a limited resource that when you pick it up, everyone in your group gets one. And you use it, especially in the final defense missions, to unlock like special crates that gives you like power weapons, or to activate traps and stuff that you're going to need. So there's an incentive to go explore. But if you think you're good, you can just go finish the game. Yeah. You don't have to like sit there and explore the entire map. And Nick mentioned the vehicles and the video that we're watching. We just watched someone winch themselves into the sky, which was funny. They also so there's like 4 main vehicles. I think there's like 6 total that you can find in a map. But your basic one is a Humvee with a turret on it. And that is essentially like the assault class. Each vehicle has a special ability. The Humvee can do a big EMP burst that can damage everything around it and clear some sludge, which is kind of like these pits that make it hard to drive through. There's an ambulance that doesn't have a winch but can heal you, and it is very strong because it just heals you whenever you want. There is a gauge for it, but it comes back very quickly. So if you're playing with 2 people and you find an ambulance, it might be worth one person like babysitting that ambulance and making sure it drives everywhere with you.
Yeah.
But since it doesn't have a winch, it can be hard to drive through muck and stuff, which is why if you have somebody who has a winch, they can just pull you through it.
Right.
Yeah. There's a truck that so you need gas. As you're driving, you burn through gas, and you find it throughout the map and you fill up your vehicles. This truck just produces gas. So like every 60 seconds you get a gas canister, which is part of why we ended up in a convoy, because we found that car, a Humvee, and a ambulance. So we were all just like driving through with those 3 vehicles.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we got the gas. Let's just keep going.
There's a cop car that can like give you unlimited ammo, and then if you hit the horn, it becomes a bomb.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then a sedan, and I don't know what the sedan does. I think it's just drives.
It's just a sedan.
Yeah. So as you go through these maps, you can find these different vehicles. And they've really changed kind of how you play. It's a lot of fun. Not really a bigger point to that other than this is kind of what you expect. You load into a game, you try to find a vehicle, you decide what points of interest to go look for equipment, for these like spare parts, stuff like that. You collect all of the resources for your attachments and whatever, like skins. Once you play on the harder difficulties, you unlock a third type of currency for like vehicle customization. And then you choose when you're done and you want to go do the final mission, which brings it to its kind of selling point. Saber Interactive has been working on technology called the Swarm system, which first showed up in World War Z and then in Space Marines 2, which is designed to have gigantic hordes on screen. Like, we're talking hundreds, if not 1,000 plus units at a time. So you're facing just a gigantic horde of zombies. And each mission ends in kind of setting off one of these hordes and fighting them. And that's kind of the main draw. It's like you're fighting hundreds of zombies.
Yeah, so that's why you want to like make sure you get a bunch of ammo, get a couple good weapons, find some spare parts to create traps, because you're fighting this horde at the end.
Yeah. And most of the time they give you a lot of tools to slow them down, stop them, deal with them. And I haven't played on the harder difficulties, but sometimes it gets really intense and it can go sideways very quick. And it's a lot of fun. So you go from this kind of exploring the map, kind of slow paced thing most of the time to a sudden gigantic crescendo at the end.
It's particularly fun to chuck a mortar into an ocean of zombies.
Yes.
Get like an achievement for killing 50 people in one hit.
Skip ahead like 10 seconds. It'll be into the deep of it. Like, if you can just see them running along the sides and coming off the walls and stuff.
Oh, wow. That actually looks like a lot of fun.
The game is fun. Yeah. I beat the main story in 7 hours, so it's not long, and that's with me really
that's not bad.
That's with me really spending a lot of times on these maps. If you rush the objectives for every mission, you could probably beat this game in 2 hours.
But like that's just going through the missions once. Yeah, like this game isn't about the story. It's not about going through one time. It's about the repeat play, and it's about playing levels over and over again.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. It really isn't about the story. And in fact, the story is not good. It's serviceable.
It's fine.
But the writing, they make at one point, I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going joke. That's the kind of writing you're getting here. So I don't expect much there, is all. If you like zombie games and you don't mind playing solo or with randoms, it's a good buy. If you have a couple buddies who love zombie games, it's a great buy. If you don't like grindy solo shooters like this, where there isn't really a point, you're just playing to have fun and shoot zombies, I probably wouldn't get it. If you want something more, this is not that game. This is exactly what it is on the tin.
If you're not going to fall in love in this game, if you've been looking for another Back 4 Blood,
yeah, that's my take. I think it's a good time. At $30 for what I got for it, I'm having a lot of fun, and I can get some more hours out of this.
Oh yeah, I paid $40, and
this looks like absolute chaos. I mean, it does not you chaos, but
yeah,
it looks like utter chaos. Just survival. Just shoot everything while you can.
Yes.
Oh, it looks so awesome.
You will probably enjoy it, Edie.
It reminds me a little bit of Horde mode in the original Beast mode, or not Beast mode, but the original Horde mode in
Gears of War.
Gears of War series. where you're trying to set up all your defenses and then, but there's no like stop for the waves. It's you just have to make it through this wave.
I mean, it is like a horde. I mean, horde mode was tower defense. That's yeah.
One of the great things about this game is like a lot of them have a timer at the end where you're trying to just survive. The first game I played, we were playing through it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was playing with randoms who didn't know what they were doing. So we got to the end, and you're defending this church, and we all went down. But the game doesn't finish when you all go down. It just keeps going till you die. So thankfully we had like 15 seconds left when we all went down. So we're all just shooting our little pistols in the down position. Timer goes off, it explodes, and we finish the game.
Oh, wow. We win by dying.
Yes. Anyways, I think it's a solid 7 out of 10. But like a good 7 out of 10. I think if you want this kind of game, you'll be happy with it.
Yeah. It's the kind of game that, when you look at it, it's kind of a simple game, but it's also reminds me that it's so hard to do the basics. It's so hard to make a game that feels good. I mean, look at Crimson Desert. A game that like plays good, that just like has that good loop. Like the basics, the core fundamentals of game design are really hard. And a lot of games, even big AAA games, kind of mess up the basics. And this game just gets them all right.
We also get $5 for every time we say good about this game. So,
all right. Any other game that we want to review?
One more tidbit. Apparently, asked in an interview, John Carpenter was like, "So, what input did you have on this game?" And he was like, "Oh, so I reached out my hand and they put a check in it."
Good job to have.
That tracks. Like he has absolutely been honest with, if someone wants to give me money, I will accept their money. You want to make another Halloween movie? Give me a check and have fun. I don't care. It's nice for him to be that honest.
There's some Easter eggs in the game, but like this is Tom Clancy Zombies. This is, it's a name. Like it is not. Don't expect him in this game, really.
Yeah, there's nothing kind of John Carpenter about it. Yeah, he's just a name to help the PR.
Don't let that fool you, though. Good game. Another $5. Anyways.
Yeah. Hey, Carpenter's got to get his cut. And you know what? He earned it. I'm happy to give him money.
Outside of that, the only thing I've played this week was Slay the Spire 2.
Hot new game.
Yeah.
Although now I saw it's getting review bombed for a patch that isn't even out yet.
In the beta branch, yeah. So I never played Slay the Spire 1 much.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
I tried it and I bounced off really hard the first time I played it. I went back and I still kind of did. I did not with Slay the Spire 2. A lot of people who played Slay the Spire 1 kind of say this feels almost like a remake in a lot of ways, because it has all of the same cards. It has 3 of the same characters. There's 2 new ones, and there was only 4 in the first one.
Right.
There is more, from what I can tell, but it feels very much like a better presentation of the first one, from what I've heard about people who've played the first one extensively. This is in early access, though, so it coming out of the gate is basically a remake plus a little more, which means by the time it launches, everything else should be new by that point. I liked this one more because when you first start this game, you come out of the gate feeling a little bit more powerful than you do in the first one. There's more card interactions, and you unlock that stuff in the first one eventually. But I felt like you just started with that in this first one, or in the second one, and it made it more enjoyable to play for me.
That's nice. Like just to get you into that loop faster.
Yeah, and you unlock each character pretty much after one playthrough of the previous character before. So as you're playing, you're unlocking characters really quickly. As you play through the games, there's this XP bar, and after you do certain things with the characters, you unlock more cards, relics, or potions, stuff like that. If you don't know what Slay the Spire is, it's a roguelike deck building card game. Literally look anywhere right now on the internet and you can find way more videos explaining this better than I can possibly do.
Yeah, it's turn-based. You've got cards. I mean, I'm literally playing this every single day. Slay the Spire 1. That you have you have 4 maps, and you have 4 levels. Each level is a series of fights that has regular battles, boss battles, merchants, elite battles, merchants and rest sites, and then like mystery rooms, which could be a fight. It could be some kind of challenge where you have to decide, do I want to lose some HP for a bonus? Do I want to take a curse for a bonus? Do I want to try and walk away? That kind of stuff. So essentially you're dungeon crawling through a dungeon, and there are 4 levels to it. You have to go through each of the quote unquote rooms, which could be any of those 4 kinds of encounters.
Or
and
a rest
at
site.
The top, right, or the rest. Well, the rest site, right, forgot about the rest site. So when you get to the end of each level, there is a boss fight. And the spire is when you complete all 4 of the levels.
In 2,
and it
there's
is
only 3
hard. Acts. It is so. I've played a lot of Slay the Spire 1 every day. Sometimes, at least several hours a day. I have only managed to slay the Spire once. I got to the final boss on the 4th level twice and lost to it one time. And it took me several weeks to get to the second time. And I got it. I just got it this weekend. So that is the first time that I've been able to do it. It is. Oh yeah. And it's also roguelike. So when you're done, you're done. And it's a horrible feeling when you're standing there and you realize that you're about to get hit for more hit points than you have, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you are, 4 levels in or right at the boss level, and it's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, so
that hit is going to be one more than I can take, and there's nothing you can do.
It is a game that rewards experience and understanding, though, which is really nice. Like, the first time you play, you're just going to read cards and be like, oh, that's cool. But as you play through, as you unlock those cards more and more, you're going to be like, oh, I see how this would work, how this would fold into the other cards that I saw last round. If I get this one, I want to aim to try to see if I can find that card. And the only RNG here is the deck drawing and your rewards. In combat, you see exactly what the enemy unit is going to do. So you knew, like, oh, he's going to attack twice for 3 damage. Well, that means I'm going to take 6 damage, so I'm going to need at least 6 blocks if I don't want to take any damage. So I'll attack once and I'll throw on 2 defenses that are for 5. Or if you have one that's just 6, you're like, okay, I'm not going to take any damage this turn. It's just math. There is no
he's not going to
rolls.
hit me, so I can throw all of the offensive. I don't have to worry about putting up a block because I know he's not going to throw anything at me.
And so outside of that, if you know Slay the Spire 1, it's the same setup. It's in early access, so like as Nick was mentioning, they're doing balance passes in the beta branch, and they'll eventually roll it out to the main branch. And they're going to change. They're going to take heavy swings at stuff that people might not like, which is why they're getting review bombed. And what they said was basically, like, this isn't final. We're just doing this to see what happens, to see if it's in a better place.
It is early access. It's in development. Like, expect some testing.
And balance is the hardest thing for games like this.
Yeah.
And AC Ray says, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he says Wanderbots, which I think is a streamer, has been playing Slay the Spire 2 draft mode to start without strikes or defense, finding it too easy and then adding difficulty modifiers.
So every character starts with 5 strikes and 5 defense, which are basically your basic attacks. And there's a lot of modifiers in the game to increase those powers or to alter them in some way.
Get new cards. You add to your deck. Yeah.
To get rid of all your strikes and defense means that basically you start with like 3 cards. And that's all you can play.
That's for the real sickos.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Nick, I know you historically don't like deck builders, right?
Yeah, but I also really bounced off Slay the Spire. So to hear you did too, and you're really into this one, kind of makes
here comes the standout feature for this one. Okay. It has multiplayer. You and up to 4 friends can play together.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is huge for me because Chris he's the one that got me into Slay the Spire.
It's I want to be clear. It is not entirely balanced right, in my opinion. In particular, because 2 people, like, this sounds simple, but like 2 people is much harder than 4, and it feels like it is balanced more around having more people. Because the things that changes in multiplayer is pretty much enemy health. They get more health, and it scales with how many people you have. But at 2, it basically doubles their health, but it doesn't always feel like that's a 1-to-1 thing. The enemies attack everyone at once, so anything that they would do to you, they do to everyone. But there is no increase in like damage or anything like that. It's basically just health. What's nice is the community. So when you play on your turn, everyone goes at once, and everyone just starts throwing out cards, and it'll just kind of stack and go based off of whoever played it first. So you want to communicate about what you're playing. For instance, if I'm playing
you're playing out of the same deck. You're not.
No.
Have 2 separate decks.
You have 2 separate decks.
Oh, okay.
You have whatever you're building yourself, and there are special multiplayer cards. For instance, the Ironclad, which is the first character you get, he's kind of like your standard fighter tank. I found a card that I take double damage, but all of my teammates take half damage.
Okay.
Was cool. Got me killed. So there are special cards to the mode itself, but when you're playing, you can't throw blocks on other people. You can throw your potions
that doesn't make sense. If you've got somebody that's going to be taking double damage, you've got to make sure that somebody else can throw a block onto somebody else.
Well, you build your deck around the idea if you're going to aim for that. So you take a lot of blocks, a lot of stuff like that. There are a few things that let you put blocks on other people, but that's not like your deck that you get in single player basically runs like your single player deck.
Okay.
However, I found that like you have to communicate. For instance, the Ironclad has a lot of vulnerability that they can put on a person, which increases the damage by 50%. Now, normally that would cost an energy in solo, and then you would tempo out of that and play more damaging cards following up, right? However, if I do that first with the Ironclad and then everyone else attacks, they get all the benefits from that vulnerability that they don't have to put energy into. So when you have 4 people, that synergy begins to spiral out of control, and it becomes really easy comparatively to 2 players. And like I said, the HP seems to be designed around 3 to 4 players rather than 2. So be paired when you're playing 2 players. It's kind of hard.
Okay. Yeah, I see that they also have a Vanquished, which is the 2nd level character.
The Silent.
This case. The Silent. Oh, is it the Silent? Oh, okay. Yeah. And his deck inevitably, if you're going to play it smart, that's my favorite character right now. If you're going to play it smart, is with poison. So essentially you just throw all the poison and then all the block and wait for them to die.
The reason why you want to communicate, though, is like if I have vulnerability, I want to be able to throw that first before you attack so that you get the most out of it. Or if I'm about to kill a target, I want to be able to kill it and not have you throw something else up too, Because if you throw something else up that's behind my card before the animation completes, that'll fizzle and it'll just disappear. So you'll lose that card.
So you actually literally have to coordinate your plays, because your play, one person's play can squirrel another person's play if it's not completed.
A bit, yes, but like that's not too much of an issue until you reach to like low HP of something where it's like, oh, I am about to kill us. Until then, it's like, oh, I threw vulnerability on it, just wail on it. And you'll see, like, I played with 2 other people last night. We're all just throwing cards at it and just watching it get the shit beat out of it. And it was kind of satisfying.
I bet it was fun.
And the other side thing is like you can throw potions that you get, which can range from more energy, armor, cards, all of that onto other people. So if someone needs to block and you have a block potion and they're going to die next turn if they don't get it, you can throw that block potion onto them. So you can kind of plan around like keeping certain cards for other people or certain potions for other people. It's a fun game mode. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looks fun. I'm totally. Oh, I forgot to expand that out. Sorry. I'm totally. This does look like fun. This does look like something that I would absolutely play, especially after having played a lot of Slay the Spire 1.
Especially with co-op, with you and Chris both being in it, like you're kind of primed for that.
Yeah, and making it super hard, he would probably love it. If it was super easy with 4 people, he'd be like, "This sucks." He's Mr. Beat Me, please.
By the way, every time you
thank
win
you very
a run,
much, sir. Can I have another?
Every time you win a run, you unlock something called Ascension, which is it has more elites. It makes things harder. So like, as you continue to win, apparently can get up to Ascension 100, from what I hear. So there's going to be like 100 modifiers to your runs. So it can get more challenging.
Yeah, I can play Ascension 2 on my my silent character, but I haven't moved up to it because I thought, okay, I won once. I should be able to easily win again. I've been playing all weekend. Nope, never even made it to level 3. And I got to beat 4. So,
yeah.
It's a hard game.
AC Wraith, if I recall correctly, Nick didn't like deck building because he didn't realize the importance of removing unwanted cards to improve the portability of desired cards.
Yes.
Probability, right.
That was the thing that threw me off about playing it initially a long time ago. It's that I kept getting new cards and getting new cards and getting new cards. I was like, well, I don't want to get rid of my attack cards. But because of that, the cool cards that I got, I wouldn't pick them in a fight because I had too many basic cards.
Yeah. And that has been a problem for me until I realized it as well. Because I would have these cards that were double or triple the amount of poison on a character. And I would inevitably get the double or triple the amount of poison before I would actually have a card that allowed me to put down poison.
Yeah, so you just have this useless card in your deck to draw out.
And it's like, God damn it, I can't put this on anyone. And this is like triple poison. This is the one that is the coup de grace. This is the game over card. But I don't have the poison card yet because it's farther down in my deck. And I'm looking at 28 cards, and it's going to be at least after 28 cards in my discard pile. When I discard this card and I get the poison next time, it's going to be like 5 hands down the road before I actually see the triple the poison card again. So they're too far away from each other. So eliminating cards is very important.
One last thing that changes for the co-op mode is sometimes you come across treasure chests that pop an item for you and you just get a relic. In the co-op mode, 1 relic spawns for each person you're playing with, but then you have to take your little finger and point to which one you want. And if you both choose the same one you want, it does a rock, paper, scissors game, like completely uncontrolled by you, until one of you wins it. And then the other person has to take the other relic. The sad, no one wanted relic.
Oh, that's kind of awesome. Let's see. He says in draft, AC Rest says in draft mode, the basic stuff is removed, and you can choose each starting card from a small group.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Basically, you pull packs and
that's
get rid
what
of your
Wonderbot was using to avoid getting the strikes and defends.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, that's my Slay the Spire 2. Currently good. I mean, there's a reason it was like 400,000 people playing it. Plus, it did better than Marathon and pretty much any other game on Steam except the big like 5.
Speaking of which, do you want to talk about Marathon?
Sure, we can.
Because you haven't talked about Marathon. You weren't on since you started. It doesn't have to be a long one, but I did say that you would be talking about Marathon.
I never ended up picking up the game, but I can go over like how I felt about. Yeah, I thought about it. I wanted to give it a little time to see where it ended up. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would.
Wasn't this the one that you watched? You watched him play, Nick?
Yeah, I played with him. I played one game.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, you keep touching the mic.
Sorry.
Just a little more.
Through on your end. All right, sorry.
Yeah.
It's very.
In fact.
Yeah, it's crackling.
In fact, just put it in your mouth and just.
Oh my god!
Headphone warning. Oh.
Christ.
Look, if
That's
you don't
so
want
sensitive.
it, don't ask.
You touched the end here, and it. That's fine, actually.
Yeah,
that's bad. That's bad.
It is not isolated at all. Oh.
Sorry. Okay. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and
turn it off, Edie.
Set it. Forget it.
Okay. Yep. There you go. Done.
All right.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay. Moving right along. We will edit that out of the podcast.
Okay.
Oh. Jesus.
I just needed something to be able to see the waveforms.
So yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it was. It was just.
Oh my god.
All right, we're just gonna go ahead and put Edie down.
I gotta know. Don't touch it.
All right, there we go.
Okay. Oh, did you kick her out? Oh, that's good. Okay.
Not touching. It's over. All right, moving right along.
Marathon. Okay. How was it?
Marathon. Tell me more.
So like I said, there's a certain style to it that's kind of divisive because like some people really hate the menus and like all the stylistic. It's like I forget the name of
90s. What was the web portal that people used in the 90s, the early internet? GeoCities.
AOL.
Page.
Oh, GeoCities. Okay.
It's almost like a sci-fi GeoCities page.
Bungie's known for this, but the gunplay was surprisingly very tight, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
the guns felt
good about that.
The guns were really fun to use. The first couple times I played it, I did not run into very many people, but the time I played with Nick, it was me, a buddy, and Nick, and we ran into fucking everyone.
There's a lot of shooting, a lot of like people.
It's kind of funny. The night before, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't really run into a lot of people. It didn't seem very populated, but it was a good time. Nick hops in, and it's a firefight from start to finish. Because every time we'd finish killing a group of people, and we were looting their stuff, a new person would show up. They'd usually shoot Nick in the back because Nick was.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, it was his first extraction shooter, so he's standing out in the open just, ooh, this looks nice. What does this do? And then they just start unloading on him. And it would be like, okay, well, now we know someone's here. Let's go ahead and just try to pull Nick to safety. But
the coal mine. He's like, hey, me, go over. Can you go around that corner for me, please? Can you go check what's over there for me?
I'm not trying to be mean, Nick. I'm
not. No, like I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, I keep dying. You keep bringing me back. I'm gonna try to just not die.
Because like normally, if you're like you kill somebody and like the pouch is kind of in the open, but like next to a wall or something, you're gonna want to get next to the wall and loot and like kind of try to stay out of the line of fire as much as possible. I didn't explain this to Nick, and Nick was just like, "Ooh, what does this guy have? Or what does this have in the open?"
You walk up, you're like, unzip. I don't know what this item is. Like, let me read the description of this item.
Mind you, we just had the loudest firefight for 5 minutes. People are on their way. No, the abilities were fun though. The looting is okay. Like Nick said, there's a lot to learn about the particular loot that you can find here. Like what's useful, what's not.
Yeah, I feel like the thing that tripped me up is just what items to keep and what items not to keep. And that's the kind of thing that you will learn as you play. But I kept looking at it, I'm going, what is a static castigate? What is a unstable diode? Like, do I want to keep this? What is this? Is this trash? Is this currency?
And it tries to do some stuff to tell you what it is and what it's useful for, but a lot of it's like quests and crafting and stuff like that. So you don't really know right away what you should be keeping. In fact, I was just grabbing a lot of stuff that I was just seeing.
Okay, you in the same boat.
Yeah. But no, that game that we played with the three of us, the moment-to-moment gameplay was a lot more fun than I had the night before, and I could see where it was shining, especially with whatever changes they made, because apparently they made some pretty significant ones. If they add more bosses, stuff like PvE events to the game, I think they're looking at something that's pretty good. I don't know if it's ever going to be great or huge. The genre itself is niche to begin with. But I think they have pretty strong foundations if it gets the chance to evolve. Because that's a real big question nowadays, if something like this is going to get the chance to really spread its legs and get going. I know, I haven't seen it, but apparently on release they were adding like a new map that was going to be kind of raid-like. And I don't know what that means exactly. If there's just a stronger enemies and better loot, and like so you expect. Good.
Raid usually implies some sort of big multiplayer event.
Yeah.
But in an extraction shooter where everyone is your enemy,
I assume it means you go in loaded. Like, bring your best shit with a team, because you're going to be fighting other people with their best shit in a team and hard PvE like units.
Or you go in with nothing, with the guy that can go invisible, and you wait for everyone to kill each other, and then you just loot the scraps.
That too. And in that way, if there are raids like that, where it's like really strong PvE events or maps that are going to drop really good loot, I think that's something that could set it apart from something like Tarkov. Because Tarkov is the same maps every time you go in, and there might be a boss on the map, but like there's no big change. And so you can kind of know what you're getting into. There is one map that has really high-end loot and like strong, if it's essentially that. So Tarkov has one of those. If this is more cinematic version of that, that'd be cool. That game that we played, me, again, not trying to like crap on you, Nick. But we killed 11 people. I had killed 5. My buddy had killed 6, and we had revived Nick a lot that game.
I think I killed at least one person. I contributed
a lot, huh?
We played more than one round.
How much is a lot?
What do you mean?
Do you remember the number of revives?
Number of revives?
I think I had revived 6 people, but I was the medic. I think my buddy had revived 4 times. So understand, we killed 11 people and we had like 10 revives. And I think my buddy went down twice a piece. So do the math. Maybe 6 times for Nick.
See, I was just out there being the bait. They shot at me so that they didn't shoot at you.
He actually kind of was, because he would go down and they would get greedy and try to finish him, and me and my buddy would flank and start unloading on them, or we would let them like, oh, no one else is shooting at us after they shot.
See, I
Nick.
told you, hey, Nick, go around the corner,
win.
take a look for something. Can you go over there and read that for me, please?
Look, I'm not saying I purposely used Nick, but when the situation arrived, I thought it was tactically relevant to flank while Nick was crawling away.
Yeah, tactical incompetence. I like that.
Tactical incompetence, great. All right.
I'm interested to see where this game is at in a year or two.
This looks like actually a lot of fun. Not gonna lie, this looks like very much catnip for multiplayer for people like Pilot Chris and Nick and me and you.
Yeah, anyone that liked Destiny should probably play it because they'll probably enjoy it.
If you're solo, maybe watch a guide about what things need first, and don't take your friend who never plays extraction shooters into the game and just be like, "We'll figure it out, bud. Don't worry."
Or do it, but just tell him, go over there and read that for me, will you?
Or do it.
Use him as bait.
Yeah, do it and record it. That's the real answer.
Anyways, yeah, short marathon stint. I may go back to it one day if my buddy picks it up because I enjoyed it.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
So
before we get to news, I did remember one other point about Crimson Desert that is worth mentioning. I'm playing on a base PS5, and there was a lot of talk before it came out about performance. Apparently, it runs really well on PC. I haven't had any frame rate or any performance issues on the base PS5 unless I am running in balanced mode. So, like a lot of games now on consoles, you can choose between performance mode, which increases the frame rate but lowers the resolution, or you could play on what was the other one? Quality mode, which increases the resolution but lowers the frame rate, or balanced mode, which is kind of a combination. It tries to meet those two in between.
Medium.
Yeah. If you play on balanced mode on a base PS5, whenever you open the map, you have maybe like 2 minutes before the game crashes. Like solid stops moving, take my hands off the controller, wait 5 minutes, and eventually a thing comes up that says the game has crashed. Do you want to submit an error report? And this happens like pretty commonly. You open the map and things seem fine for a second, but if you scroll a little too far, a little too fast, whole thing crashes. But that only happens on balanced mode. If you're on performance or if you're on quality, that doesn't happen. So it's weird to see a game that runs so well, except for this one issue that causes a consistent hard crash.
So keep that in mind if you're on PS5.
Yeah, if you're on a console, don't play on balanced mode until they patch it.
Since you brought Crimson Desert back up, there was a joke I was going to say, but you were in the middle of like talking about it. It was during the chimney sweep stuff. I was going to say GameHounds is like the chimney sweeping of podcasts, and I think that would have been great. Terrible comedic delivery now, but
no,
I stand by it.
Do it now, as you would have then, and Edie will edit it back into that conversation.
True. Also, AC Wraith, I think, put this in for you, Edie, to edit something out of the podcast.
Later. That was the eating the microphone.
I read that as this is something to edit out of the audio version. Edie.
Edie free podcast.
No argument there.
No, not Edie free podcast. Just edit your parts out so that you're still there. Just none of the audio.
There's only one letter difference between edit and Edie. You know that, right?
Yes.
All right. So I'm a beer in, finally breaking into the Pliny the Elder that I bought for you, Nick, that you didn't drink. I blame you. Super Bowl.
Oh, I had 2 cocktails.
I know. Well, you're an amateur. I get it. You weren't really prepared for the day. But yeah, I bought 2 Plinies for you that had been sitting in the refrigerator. So now here's my reasoning. I'm a little bit drunk, but that means I have to play video games tonight because I can't drive back. So here's the thing. The sooner we get through this, the sooner we can get, because if I sober up, then I'll have to drive back.
Or you can just be like, hey, I'm in quotations too drunk to drive back, even though you sobered up. No,
I can't do that. So This is my only Pliny, so you have the length of the effect of one Pliny to get through this.
We have like an hour and 20 minutes left of this podcast, though.
No, we don't.
No. Wow.
That'll stay into the podcast.
Oh yeah, keeping that.
We're definitely keeping that. This is beer. All right.
Well, then there are two major news stories that came out.
Whoa. You know, I'm not that drunk, sir. Let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, news, and commentary of the week. Nick, Nicola, and Creation Chaos, Andrew Smith. I love having you here. First item is, and Nick gets up and leaves. What the fuck, dude?
The cat was jumping at the door.
Okay,
come on.
Do you want to what do you want to talk about first? Because there's apparently two big. All right, let's talk about Krafton. Hey, Vice, how are you? Vice is saying hello. I'm assuming he's laughing at you guys.
He was laughing at the Edie joke about editing you out of the podcast.
All right. Okay, good. So let's talk about Krafton. If you missed, oh shoot, I forgot to do the GameHounds news banner. There you go, GameHounds news banner. All right, Krafton. Shit went down this week, and if we ever needed any example of why AI is not ready, this is the reason why AI is not ready.
This is an AI problem. This is not an AI problem.
No. Actually, this isn't an AI problem. This is just somebody who shouldn't have had a job as a CEO of Krafton getting the job of the CEO of Krafton. I will give you a little inside. Very excited, drunk Edie noises. Great. So I will give you an example because an insider information, not insider information, but like an insider perspective. When this happened, I went to dinner with Chris and I sat across from him at Super Duper at the burger place. And I told him about the setup of this. And he's like, you have to be wrong. You have to be wrong. The math on that doesn't work. Like, you're off by a decimal point. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I had to bring it up and show it to him saying, I'm not off by a decimal point. He's like, so anyway, let me get into it. If you aren't aware, Krafton meant to purchase Unknown Worlds, the maker of Subnautica, before they released Subnautica 2, and the deal that they had that they were going to purchase the company for $500 million, and then there was a bonus that came with it that was for up to $250 million. And the CEO of Krafton said, all right, I'm going to set a number that I think is completely unrealistic, and I'm going to say that every unit that you sell after hitting a certain amount of unit sales in a certain amount of time, I will pay you a bonus for it. Thinking he would never have to pay that bonus because he thought to himself that he had set an incredibly unrealistic, unreachable expectation of what Subnautica 2 would sell in a certain amount of time. So, actually, I'll put this up here now. Judge finds Krafton used AI to craft scheme. He realized before Subnautica 2 came out, he realized that he had made a horrible mistake because it looked like, according to projections, that Unknown Worlds was going to make this benchmark that would trigger the beginning of this $250 million bonus, and that it looked like he was going to end up spending about an extra, because he gave him $500 million for the company. It looks like he was going to end up having to pay this bonus. Of the estimates were between 191 and 250 million. So
yeah, and that's
he was going to have to lose most of it.
If Subnautica 2 came out, they would have hit the goal.
Right. That's what his projections showed, was that it was not just going to hit the goal. It was going to hit the goal in such a way that it would collect most of the $250 million that he had promised as this bonus that he actually never intended to pay, because he thought he'd set an unrealistic number and they accepted. and thought, oh, I'm so smart. I'm the smartest person ever. They'll never make this number. It'll never happen. Good old rock. Nothing beats rock, he said, when playing rock, paper, scissors, and all of a sudden it came up rock. So, in his effort to not pay this bonus, he fired everybody, all of the leadership of Krafton, even though that was against the original agreement with them. Sorry, not the original Krafton, but he fired the original leadership team of Unknown Worlds because they were supposed to have autonomy. It was part of the contract, the purchase contract, is that they were going to stay independent, be autonomous, run their own thing. You were going to be hands off. He realized he needed to get out of this, so he trumped up this weird scheme. And this is where, up until this week, we were at, saying that they weren't hitting benchmarks. They weren't really focusing on the game. The game wasn't ready to come out. He was kind of making stuff up that sounded weird, like Krafton saying, hey, you aren't making performance benchmarks for us. We're firing you because we're firing for cause.
I think they said the leadership team is working on different projects, and so
they're mismanaging.
They're not giving Subnautica 2 as much time that they should be. They're not doing their jobs, basically.
And and fired them for cause, because that was the only way that they could fire them, was for cause.
He's since changed his story about like the deal, and I understand this is just weaselly him, whoever this person is, but he seems to claim that he really got rolled over on the deal with keeping the 500 million, the independent
he called it a pushover deal. After when he realized that he was going to end up having to pay it, he called it a pushover deal, and he didn't want anyone to think he was a pushover. It was really just ego. I fucked up. I forgot to carry the one. I ended up being in a deal that was a bad deal for my company. I don't want to be seen as a pushover. This is going to come back to me. This is going to make me look bad and incompetent. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do everything I can to fire the leadership team, quote unquote, for cause, in any way that I could possibly do it, to keep from having to pay this $250 million. That's where this whole discussion ended last we checked. And of course, Unknown Worlds team, their leadership team that got fired, took it to court and said, fuck no, wait, whoa, we didn't do anything wrong. I think you're trying to get out. Of paying us.
Yeah, so
to court.
My experience with this was I had seen like articles before any of the firings that was like, Subnautica 2, well on track, like things are shaping up really good. And then 2 weeks later, entire CEO and the co-founders removed from Unknown Worlds team. Yeah. And it was a little back and forth of like, well, they were mismanaging it, that's why they fired. And then they broke their NDAs, I believe, and they were like, fuck, no, we did not. We were doing great. And then they started the legal proceedings.
Right. So the legal proceedings finally went to court this week. So in the judgment made by the let me see if I can find the information on it. The name of the guy, I can't remember, but the judge Bill. Yeah, Judge Bill. So this is directly reading out of the judgment. The equity purchase agreement on October 29, 2021, Krafton and Unknown Worlds entered into an equity purchase program. Krafton purchased 100% of Unknown Worlds' outstanding equity for $500 million upfront payment. Let's see. Cleveland, McGuire, and Gill, who are the key employees of Unknown Worlds, and other Unknown Worlds team members also became eligible for a $250 million earn-out payment. Eligibility for the performance-based earn-out determined Unknown Worlds revenue from December 31st, 2025, with an option to extend the earn-out period to June 2026. The earnout formula is highly leveraged. If Unknown World surpasses a revenue threshold of $69.8 million, Krafton must pay $3.12 for each additional dollar of revenue generated up to a $250 million cap.
So wait, so after 69 million, every dollar the game makes, they get 3?
Yes.
Who fucking did that?
Yes. That's where when I said it was a $250 million earnout cap, Chris went to me like, you've got to be off by a decimal. That can't be right. It can't be right. I'm like, well, no, apparently at a certain point, they were supposed to be getting like a certain amount of money for each unit sold. And he's like, no. And that's when I went looking for the actual fucking deal.
Because, like, first of all, you're paying 300% on every dollar you make, which is...
So for every extra dollar they make, Krafton is losing $3 of anything that they made on the original 69. So you're losing it 3 times the rate of the income.
And 69 for Subnautica 2.
I wonder what did, because I imagine that deal was probably to sweeten the pot, right? They're looking to buy Unknown Worlds. Maybe Unknown Worlds doesn't want to sell. So they put in this little caveat that says, hey, if you make more than this much money, you're going to get triple that. It's a way to sweeten the sales deal. What did Subnautica sell that made them think 69 million was an appropriate number to start that at?
Okay, so actually, I looked that up. It did. It generated $180 million total, but let's see.
500 million is an insane amount. Like the initial.
So that was 1 month. That was 1 month because it was supposed to come out in May, right? When was the original date?
I don't think they had one.
Subnautica 2 was supposed to come out.
They didn't have one, but it was scheduled for late 25.
Okay, so let's say it was December 1st. So December, January, February, March, April. It was probably 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to make, so it had to hit 69 million in the first, I'm assuming 6 months, because that makes sense that it would be a round number. 6 months of its release. So I'm trying to see, what did Subnautica make in its first 6 months?
Well,
the game was a slow burn success. This is according to the AI overview. That grew significantly over time rather than exclusively in the first 6 months. The game sold 5 million copies by January 2020. Okay. It doesn't really have an idea. I can't really find out how much it sold in the first 6 months, but it was, according to AI, because of course AI is so damn smart. We'll get into that. We haven't mentioned the AI, how AI worked into this.
It does make sense that it's a slow burn because look,
it was a slow burn.
When Subnautica came out, nobody knew what Subnautica was.
Exactly. Right? That's why Subnautica 2 would have absolutely sold more.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a slow burn. It would have been the opposite of a slow burn. A lot of people would have bought it at the beginning and fewer at the end.
No, yes. Here's also something about Subnautica 2 is it is a co-op game compared to 1, which was going to be huge for them.
And means that they were going to have to, in order to play the game, they're going to have to sell 2 copies.
It's 4-player co-op. So
4 copies.
4. Wow.
Yeah, so you could have people buying it for them and their friends. And now it is a name brand that people really enjoyed, but a lot of people didn't get into it because a lot of people scared of the ocean, but because they couldn't play with their friends. And it's a survival game, which is just in general sells gangbusters for co-op friendly people.
Bottom line, it was a stupid deal. He underestimated how much it would sell in the first 6 months. And he offered them. And of course, I'm sure they looked at that deal and went, you've got to be fucking joking, right? I mean, even Chris, as I said it, before I even looked up anything, I'm like, did you hear what happened with Krafton? Okay, so here's the background on Krafton. I got 10 words in, and he said to me, you have to be off. by a decimal point on this one. Unknown Worlds leadership team probably saw that come across and went, yeah, okay, sure. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to offer us that? Okay. And signed right on the bottom line.
So not revenue, but as of 9 months ago, Krafton had on their site that Subnautica 1 sold at least 7 million copies, and Subnautica Sub-Zero sold 2.8 million copies. So in a total between the two games, almost 10 million copies for the total value. And I think they start off at like $30 and then you get sales down to 10. So the amount there can be changed. But that was as of 9 months ago. If more people bought it since then, or they stopped counting, this game was a success. Clearly.
Oh, yes. No, it was absolutely a success. I think that he just probably did, given what we know about what happened later, which we'll get to.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened?
He looked at Google and he did exactly what I saw and said it was a slow burn. AI told him it was a slow burn. So, bottom line, he made this deal. It was a terrible deal. It was a ludicrously bad deal. And he decided that he didn't want to pay it. And the only way, well, he went.
I want to make a point.
He asked an AI, how do I get out of this deal? And the AI told him what to do.
It didn't start there. He went to his legal team and went, how can I get out of this deal? And the real people that they pay money to, who went to school and their entire job is to protect the financials of Krafton, went, you can't, bud. Like, you're locked in. And then, as Edie just colorfully mentioned, he went to AI, and AI told him, you can't do this, bud. It told him no. And he went, do it anyways. And of course,
he's like, well, if I was going to do it, actually, let's see if I can find the actual information that the AI reportedly
gave
him.
From the Kotaku article,
Thank you.
The chatbot said that the contract would be difficult to cancel, but at ChatGPT's suggestion, the CEO formed an internal task force dubbed Project X to either negotiate a deal on the earnout or execute a takeover of Unknown Worlds.
Oh, it's so bad. Project X is the most AI name for some shit like this.
And so,
he said
he sought ChatGPT's counsel on how to proceed if Krafton failed to reach a deal with Unknown Worlds on the earnout. The AI chatbot prepared a response strategy to a no-deal scenario, which Kim shared with another executive. The strategy included a pressure and leverage package and an implementation roadmap by scenario. Over the next month, Krafton followed most of ChatGPT's recommendations. This included a message to fans lying about the co-founders' intentions, taking control of Subnautica 2 on Steam, and more.
Yeah, and even the Project X name actually came from the chatbot. Yeah, that's how closely he followed. He's like, yeah, but what if I really, really wanted to? And this is the problem with AI. AI wants to please, so it'll make shit up that's a bad idea just to give you an answer because it wants to please you. And it gave him an answer, but of course it was very, very transparent that this was a bad idea, and the judge, the judge in this case ordered, after it found out not only was there what was it? Vice says plot twist. CEO did in fact not want to get out of the contract, but just as a humiliation and find him fetish.
A financial domination fetish.
Right. Yeah. So the judge found, because of course, you talk to chatbots, it leaves a mark. It leaves records, and they found out what the chatbot told the CEO of Krafton, and the CEO of Krafton did it, and then they realized, oh, when your prompt is how do I get out of this deal, it kind of is the smoking gun of he did this to get out of this deal.
Yeah.
I mean, not just that, but that he followed it to the letter,
To
making
the
no
letter.
changes. I wonder if he was like, "Hey,"
after his legal team told him it was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Yeah.
I wonder if he went to ChatGPT. Hey, I'm buying Unknown Worlds. Is this amount a good deal? And it was like, oh,
was
yeah,
ChatGPT part of the original deal?
It probably. I don't know how long ago was that. It was
a while ago, actually. It was like quite a long time ago.
ChatGPT might have not been up and running the way it is right now when he
I
asked it. But I can guarantee that he probably did exactly what I did. Is said, "Tell me how much." What was my prompt?
2001. 2001 is when they sold.
Oh gosh, yeah, no. 2020, yeah, 2001. ChatGPT didn't even exist.
From my remembering correctly, because I don't have it in front of me, it was make the task force, have the task force try to get out of the deal. The CEO and co-founder said no. Then do the whole like they mismanaged, and then use fan loyalty or brand loyalty to turn the story to your for your favor.
Yes,
it told you
to turn the narrative, to actually lie and use fan loyalty to turn the narrative in your favor so that the community would turn on Unknown Worlds leadership team and essentially make you the anointed one, because of course remember, Krafton is the one that does PUBG. So they do have a certain level of fan loyalty. Did being the operative word.
I thought it was just use Subnautica's brand loyalty to be like, we're protecting Subnautica too by getting rid of
that's what they did. That's what they argued. They said that, they're not working on the game. The game's not ready for early access. We want to work on it more.
Right.
That was the narrative they tried to portray.
So now that the Unknown Worlds leadership team is kind of in a weird situation in that the judge has just reinstated them to their company that is owned by the guy that tried to screw them over.
So he didn't do the whole team. He did the CEO. Only the CEO with the authority to rehire the co-founders. I still don't know if they've done it yet, but he, according to the judgment, he thought it was excessive to force the company to rehire all three. So he just made it the CEO, and then with the option to hire back the two if the CEO wants to, which is its own problems and is weird because I don't. Hopefully that guy's a good guy.
Yeah,
but
Edward Guild is his name. He's Edward Guild, who was forced in, according to this, I'm reading this out of the direct judgment. Edward Guild is hereby reinstated as CEO of Unknown Worlds, and his period of operational control will be extended by the time that elapsed between his wrongful termination and his restoration. The July 1st, 2025 board resolution is declared ineffective, and to the extent that it infringes on Guild's operational control rights. So on top of that, this period of performance to meet these goals, to get the bonus, has now been extended by the period of time that that they weren't there, that the Unknown Worlds people were fired from.
Also, he has complete independent control again, rather than the Krafton board that's been running the company.
And on that point, it's interesting to note that since this has happened, as part of the announcement about this, Krafton was like, "Yeah, no, we settled. We firmly disagree, but we welcome him back."
Really?
Blah blah. By the way, Subnautica 2 ready for early access this May.
In May.
Yes.
They announced that.
Yep.
And now the CEO, Gills, is like, "You leaked that. We weren't ready to announce that. You announced that."
Against court order. That's the most recent thing, is he is once again suing Krafton for the obvious intent to harm the launch of the early access, because maybe it would have came out of May. It very well might have, but they were not ready to announce that because they wanted more promotional materials or like the ability to extend that without having a deadline, so that if they delayed it, like they wouldn't have to say it was a delay and hurt like the fan base, especially after all this stuff that's come out.
I think they specifically say the entire process was supposed to be driven by Mr. Gill. However, in defiance of the court's opinion, Krafton has now taken that away.
Let's call this guy by his name instead of it just making Krafton, because clearly this is the CEO of Krafton fucking up over and over, and then not like after he's already been humiliated by his own fucking ineptitude on numerous levels, on the purchase, on the payout deal, the bonus structure, and then on using AI. The man should be fired instantly by his board of directors. Oh my God. His name is King Chang Han. He's the CEO of Krafton. Kim Chang Han.
Yes.
Kim Chang Han. Remember this guy's name. Say it over and over, because it can't just be Krafton. It's not Krafton. It's this guy. This guy is an asshole, and he's running Krafton, and he needs to have his name attached to this. Say his name. Say his name. Anyway, sorry. This pisses me off to no end. Anyway, moving right along.
But yes, that's, I think, the most recent news about it was what Nick just said about it being them announcing the release date without the CEO's involvement. They were just like, March,
oh my God, he can't even let it go, even after he has been humiliated by his own total ineptitude. He's got to be one of those. There was the names, I used to know the names, chaebols, the families in Korea. Chaebol, certain families were given rights. Were given corporations when Korea in the 1970s or whatever it was failed, and the government took over all corporations. They handed out corporations to certain families, and those families still run pretty much the industry of whatever that sector of industry is. Like the Samsung Corporation is run by a family, the gaming run by a family. And they're known as chaebols, which are essentially families that are the financial and powerful elite of South Korea that are almost beyond touchability. You know, they're untouchable financially. They're untouchable.
And
because
is that who he is?
He has to be. There's no way. There is no way that somebody could be head of a corporation that isn't chaebol. Also known for being incredibly incompetent at what they do, but they're there because of heredity. It's the ultimate Nepo baby when it comes to entire families.
Yeah, in the chat, Vice says they're a state in the state. You cannot overstate their power.
Yeah.
Chai Boy, which honestly looks like something I'd order at Starbucks.
It's Chaebol, Chibol.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sure he'll look it up. Vice says, a close friend of mine was part of one of those families, and just the tiny pieces I picked up in the background was insane. Yeah, that's like the airline industry is run by a particular family. That is the Chaebol family of the airline industry. The electronics industry is run by a particular family of the Chaebol. Their broadcasting industry. Each of these industries are run by family. It's a bit like a mafia. But without like the underworld, but so powerful. Like I said, it's hard to understate the power that these families have. And of course, they hand out all the corporations within that industry to members of their family to keep the power structure. This guy has to be chaebol, because you cannot. If he would be gone. He would be gone. As soon as he signed that deal, he would have been gone. The fact that he's still there and still making decisions like, I'm going to now fuck over these guys, shame is a big thing.
I do want to point out that
that's the only reason why he's still there is because he's got to be chaebol.
Apparently, they have up until September 15th this year to make up those sales for the $250 million. By the way, so
what's
if anyone, September 15th, 2026.
Wow! So it went from June, which is what it was before, June 30th, to now September.
It sounds like 6 months.
Because of those 6 months that the Unknown Worlds leadership team was fired and no longer running the company. Now they've got those 6 months tacked on to the expiration date.
If they launched in May, they'd have maybe 5 months. Yeah, roughly 5 months.
Yeah.
So also, I think there was also the chance to extend it based off of extenuating circumstances if they don't make it by September 15th. And I assume that's in case like Krafton tries to screw with him, or if like whatever
they
happened
decide to, hose the announcement of the early access in order to wreck the sales and make the announcement before all the press materials up and before all of the infrastructure for this announcement to come out in order to tank the sales.
Or if he's like getting back into the swing of things and that delays like development because he has to reintegrate himself what he's been out of for.
He has to rehire his team. His team all left. His team was fired, and I'm sure that a lot of
just the leadership. It was just the three leaders.
I'm sure a lot of people left. I'm sure some people left the company simply because they saw the writing on the wall that it's like, this looks like a company in trouble. If I'm offered a job somewhere else, I'm getting out now. I'm sure that there had to have been more moves than just the leadership team being yanked out of the company that affected the normal operation of that company. And I'm sure that some people left because of it.
I'm sure the operation got totally screwed over by this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I think it was just the main team, outside of people who may have quit and just solidarity. In which case, I hope they can get hired back. Here's the question. So, I'm of the mind that I want to buy like 3 or 4 copies of this game. But, obviously it's going to hurt Krafton if they meet these sales goals. But it's also going to help Krafton if they meet these sales goals. In like a broader sense. Where do you guys land on the ethical concerns of how bad we want to fuck Krafton over or help Unknown Worlds in this situation?
Buy just enough so that you trigger the payout and then stop.
Right, exactly.
But
we can do the math. We know what the deal is. We already know what the deal is. The deal is on paper. It is $3.12 for every dollar made after $69.8 million.
Oh, I'm sure they're not going
to. So we can track. There's nothing to stop Unknown Worlds from releasing those numbers every single day. And if they wanted to fuck with Krafton, a really good way to do it, because there's nothing in that contract that says that they have to, probably nothing in that contract that says that they have to hide their revenue numbers, is keep a running total of how much money the game is making, so that, without suggesting it, I could go online and see how much money it's made and how much, and it could do the math for me. Tell me what the bonus is, and when it reached 250 million, stop. Just tell me. You don't have to say to people stop. People might go buy more, but that's exactly right. Is it, even if we wanted to, you and I could make this without, we don't have the actual numbers, but we could put in the numbers of sales with estimates based on what the release is, and like give a rough estimate of what the sales would be and how much money that translates into Krafton paying Unknown Worlds, and have a ticker that essentially does this. And when it hits 0, you can go online and see, hey, every dollar after this goes to Krafton.
They'll just pirate the game after that point. I mean, don't do anything illegal, guys. We don't do anything illegal.
This is not legal. No. This is math. This is purely taking the information that we have and the math.
No, he's talking about afterwards.
Like what I said. Like how you get a hold of the game afterwards without giving the money. Don't do that.
Oh, no.
Quotations.
Nope.
Don't do that.
I do believe, though, that even though they're not rehired, the co-founders still get part of the payout if it succeeds. So keep that in mind. Like, they're not rehired, but they are still eligible within the contract to receive their bonuses.
So yeah, this is what it all. This is all stuff that came out this week, and it was like I was glued to it, like it was the latest episode of Housewives of South Korea. I could not take my eyes off of it, because as it was coming out, it's like, oh my god, God, when I saw that he actually went, because I don't have it with me right now, but the actual prompt scripts that were in the lawsuit that they actually printed of what the AI told them to do, all the way down to actually naming it Project X because the AI told him to call it Project X.
I want to say something.
You couldn't write this.
I want to step back for a second. Like, Subnautica is a great game. I have no problems with the development team. Obviously, fuck Krafton. Like that. There's a lot of it's a German word for enjoying someone's suffering here.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, Schadenfreude. We are talking about really unnecessary levels of money and bonuses for like individual people. So like, I'm happy to fuck over Krafton, but I don't really necessarily feel bad for the dev team now that like the leadership, now that they're back in position, because they got $500 million for the companies, guys. They're rich. they're filthy rich.
They're filthy rich, but they're also the guys that made the company, made the game. We're working on the game. Somebody offered them an absolutely ludicrous deal. They took it. They actually made a game that had enough juice that made people want to buy it. And honestly, I'm not okay trying to run this through my filter and decide if this is xenophobic. I am absolutely not okay with a foreign company run by an incompetent coming into my country to buy a corporation and then makes a bad deal and then tries to skirt my laws, not his laws in Korea where he can just do whatever the fuck he wants. My laws.
I want Americans
my company.
American laws. Only Americans can skirt American laws.
No, that's I have no problem with screwing over American laws. American laws are not that great for the little guy.
I don't trust these foreign oligarchs. I want homegrown oligarchs.
Listen, I don't get to go after the foreign. I'm not a fan of oligarchs anyway, but it's like, to be honest, you want to screw over it's an insult to me as an American that someone could think that they could so easily subvert my justice system to subvert my laws.
That's just a bad I don't know. Have you seen what else goes on in the US? I feel like he was probably on solid ground.
I'm not gonna lie.
No.
How can I fuck over American employees? Oh, they love getting fucked over. They're fucked over all the time.
Yes, that's the thinking. Yes, that's the thinking. That's what bothers me, is that he thinks that he can come over here and fuck over Americans because apparently we love it. Here's the thing. We don't love it. We don't love it from our own people, but at least our own people do it with human fucking beings and don't insult us to the level of using an AI to try and fuck us over. That's insulting.
Have you seen Microsoft lately?
Microsoft has a legal team, and you know what Microsoft does when it wants to fuck people over? It walks over to the legal department and asks the legal team what to do. And the legal team says, you can't get out of this. And they go, okay, all right, let's find some other way in cohorts with the legal team. You know what they don't do? They don't walk over to ChatGPT and make them do it. That's where I'm insulting. That's where I'm insulted.
I could absolutely see Sad Nutella going, how many people can I lay off? And just
hey,
giving him a number.
Hey, Google. Sad Nutella goes, hey, Google.
Hey, Gemini.
Right. But if Sad Nutella said, hey, Google, how do I screw over everybody in the United States? I would be just as angry about this. I would be just as angry about an American company.
I don't
actually did this. What this is that, and I think that it's hitting me hard because I know of the. Shut up, Google.
I think this is just silly and incompetent. Like the level of incompetence.
Yeah, it's silly and
incompetent. It's just a bad CEO. It's just a bad
CEO. It's a bad CEO who shouldn't have done what he did, who tried to screw over people, doing a good job making what was ostensibly sounding like it was going to be a good game got himself into a situation where he was embarrassed about the deal, the quote unquote pushover deal that he got into himself with. He made that deal himself and then tried to hide his incompetence, hide his mistake by going to an AI to try to essentially illegally subvert the company from the people who built it. There's nothing good about this entire story that makes me okay with Krafton.
Yeah, agree with that.
So anyway, the bottom line is, the minute this game comes out, I'm buying 2 copies. I'm gonna give away copies on the show. I'm gonna give away copies on the show.
Okay, I'll buy a copy because
Absolutely.
I like Subnautica. I just like Subnautica. Subnautica's good.
You were the one that played
Fun game.
Subnautica, and I never got around to do it. I think I bought it and I didn't play it, but if it's with multiplayer, I'm so
It was
a
pandemic game, so it was perfect for that, and it was like free, one of the free PSN games.
I think it's probably one of the things that Krafton also looked at, is that it came out during the pandemic and thought it can't duplicate this because it's not the pandemic. And there's a number of reasons why I can see that they had thought that they
it came out before the
unrealistic number. But
yeah,
it hit during the pandemic. It really hit in earnest during the pandemic. So I can see that they, all the reasons why they might have thought that the number that they created was unrealistic, but when they realized that that number was realistic and they were going to make that minimum amount, they should have just sucked it up and taken it. Sucked it up and taken it. You make a bit, kind of like ordering a credenza. Like hitting the wrong button while talking to a friend and buying a $15,000 credenza. Yeah, I paid $1,000 to get out of that deal, but I also made the mistake. Now, am I happy that I paid $1,000 to get out of that deal? No. Did I have to negotiate down to $1,000 to get out of that deal? Yes. Did I pay that $1,000?
Did you use ChatGPT?
Yes. I did not use ChatGPT.
Honestly, like, he would have been better off just being like, all right, I'm going to pay this out because I kind of have to. We're going to make sure that this never goes on sale and we have a long tail end for it. And then we're going to start Subnautica 3 with literally no incentive bonus like this. And just hope that 3 gets you back all of your money or whatever project they work on next.
You screw up, you take your lumps, and you figure out a best way out of, best way forward. You don't go and try and screw over people to hide the fact that you made that mistake.
Yeah. I think we've pretty much covered everything about
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of AI being shitty.
Oh, yeah, DLSS 5. Let's hit it.
Yep. NVIDIA showed off DLSS 5, and everyone soundly rejected it. So, okay, Andrew, you know about DLSS 4. What is DLSS 4?
Okay, so DLSS in general is a form of upscaling using AI. All it does is, so for instance, say you're playing at 1080p resolution on a monitor, right? Like, your native resolution is 1080p, so when you're playing a game, if you have no upscaling, it has to calculate and digitally output.
Stop it. Not you, Andrew. Edie.
Okay. So at 1080p, there's a certain number of pixels, and I forget the exact amount, but it's millions. The thing that makes graphics cards hard to run is it has to output all of that information across your pixels. DLSS and AI upscaling, what it does, it'll take that 1080p image, downscale it to 720p, and then use AI to insert pixels kind of not at random, but disperse throughout your picture, so that instead of using just the card's rasterization performance to output your image, it is using 75% of the card to do a 720p image, and then using AI on top of that to fill in the rest. And all 4.0 is a maturity in the process. So it started off with 1.0, kind of stuck. 2.0 was way better, did great. and they've moved up since then.
And this also includes the frame generation, or is that something different?
Frame generation uses the same principles, but instead of inserting like AI pixels into your frame, it just takes the motion vectors of your frame and then guesses what the next few frames would be. So say if you're running at 120 FPS, every third frame will be a completely AI frame. So you can basically add another 30 FPS on top of it.
Okay. And
so it extrapolates.
Well, okay.
It's predictively extrapolates.
Yeah.
That's frame gen.
And for the most part, people have this has worked pretty well. Like the AI frame generation has increased the frame rate of things, and people don't seem
frame generation hasn't
put by it.
Frame generation hasn't caught on much.
Okay.
In the same way that DLSS has.
Okay, but AI upscaling is popular. DLSS 4 has done well. I know PlayStation has its own AI upscaler.
Yes.
Xbox is working on it.
Funny enough, the engine that makes what is it called? Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
They made their own upscaler. They have their own AI upscaler in that engine, and it's the same engine that Kojima uses for Death Stranding.
Yeah.
And so he uses that one as well. That's just an aside. Okay, quick opinion piece for me. I'm not a fan of DLSS in general. I am particularly sensitive to what is called artifacting, and it's, in this case with DLSS, it's guessing what those pixels will be, and it gets really weird when stuff's moving fast in motion, so like particle effects, and it's gotten better, much better, and they're currently working on 4.5, which has like a couple presets that they're put in a bunch of games, but like particles start to flash, because sometimes the game doesn't know that they're still there, or like the DLSS isn't picking up that it's still there, so it erases it temporarily. In fact, a perfect example of this is, I guess that's ray reconstruction, which is a different kind of tech. But in Black Desert, there's a setting that you can turn on PC called ray reconstruction, which does a lot of lighting things that completely deletes rain from the game on accident.
Oh, God.
Because it's a denoiser, and it causes it to think that rain is noise. And do you know what noise is?
Yeah, it's like the visual artifacting.
Yeah, it's kind of fuzzy, it's kind of boiling, like that stuff. DLSS can cause more of that.
Okay.
Especially it's stuff that's kind of in motion, or like it messes up, and so you get that kind of fuzziness and weird like pixelation and grittiness. I'm sensitive to that, so I kind of don't like DLSS. That being said, it has been used very strongly in the industry as a shorthand for optimization. So instead of having to optimize for native, which is like whatever your resolution your screen outputs, they will instead optimize for like DLSS quality. And how DLSS works for its different presets is it lowers the base resolution for each preset. So quality might be, if you're working on a 1080p monitor, quality might be like 760p. Balance might be 720, performance might be 520. So the base resolution goes lower, the more like performance you want out of DLSS, but the lower you go, the more
the AI is assuming that things look like.
So it gets progressively worse visually because of the artifacting for it. Okay. DLSS 5 is none of this.
Yes. So that's all like backstory. Yes. DLSS 5 is the next advancement. And
this is the Xbox One of marketing. It is so bad.
They put out a video. And I've got that video, but I've also got the Digital Foundry reaction video because it has more examples in that. But one of the examples that people have been showing off a lot, but remove other media. How do I, remove.
Understand with DLSS, you are still working with your base input from your graphics card.
Yeah.
That is still just the AI guesses what should be inserted into your frame to upscale it back up.
And so this was a video of Resident Evil Requiem. This is the main character, Grace Ashcroft. And it starts with DLSS 5. This is a very video-focused part of the podcast, so I'm sorry for the audio listeners. So this is when they turn it on. And you can see that everything gets brightened. But more importantly, and there's a zoom in on her face changes significantly. It's not just lighting, but it gives her makeup. And if we can zoom in on her face, you can see left and right, her lips are fuller. Like it changes and this is what has been a sticking point about changing the geometry of the models.
Yeah. You can absolutely see that. I mean, her nose is different. And granted, yeah, you could say that is a case of shading. But her nose is different. Her eyes look different. And yeah, she's wearing makeup where it isn't obvious that she's wearing makeup in.
And her lips are different. Her mouth is different. Her mouth is open
different. For the people listening, if you go somewhere or if you can't see like the chat as it's posted, I'm not really sure how that works. If you go to nvidia.com or search DLSS5 nvidia.com, they have this tech. And if you scroll down, there's actually like a little swipe animation that you can drag back and forth. So, is there any way I can share my screen really quick?
Yes.
Okay.
Gotta hit the computer.
Okay. % share screen. Select a window for the screen.
I'll see it when it comes up so I can put it in for you.
Okay. This is directly from their website. And it allows you to just take a swiper and move it across like
it totally looks like a different person.
And you can just do this across.
The other one. Yeah.
So
and what gets me about that one particular is like it kind of just made her face shiny.
Well, it also changed. You can see her teeth, more out.
Yeah,
I believe the makeup is slightly different.
Left is off, right is on.
Yeah.
This is Leon. So again, very visual focused. But if you go to this website, if you're listening, you can look at this and mess with it yourself and see the difference. Now, not all of the examples Nix is going to bring up is going to be on this website, but you get the idea. They chose the best versions of this. So I just wanted to give people who were listening a chance to go mess with this themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I can stop presenting, right?
Already done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Okay. Sorry. It's a quick aside just to do that for you, Nick.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, that's a lot of talk about how it changes the model of the character, how it makes them look like different characters, and that's been a really big sticking point. Specifically, it looks like AI slop. Literally, it looks like this. It's AI, and it's upscaling their faces to the point where it looks like the kind of AI slop you'd see on Facebook. It has that AI style to it.
People have pointed out that it's kind of like the really gross, what we want from a female protagonist. Like, let's make Alloy pretty.
That's
yes, exactly.
It's definitely that.
This scene in particular, from my understanding, slight spoilers for the very start of Requiem, she's going to go look into information about her mom's murder. And people pointed out
the scene of her mom's murder.
Yes. And people have pointed out that like she might not be all like gussied up for such an occasion like the DLSS 5 is putting on her.
Yeah, I want to put on lipstick when I visit an abandoned building where my family was killed.
You've played this game, right, Nick?
Yes.
Quick question. To me, I've seen videos and stuff of the game. It looks gorgeous. Like it is very. The DLSS off looks like they have settings to medium or low.
Yes. And that's something I didn't see a lot of other people say. Like, looking at the picture on the left, the game looks better than that on my PS5.
Okay, so I was certain that was the case because every video I've seen, she has more detail. There is skin like occlusion.
Subsurface scattering. All those fancy things to make skin look realistic and textured.
It looks like it's all turned off on the DLSS 5 image. So that because if they showed that image and then the DLSS 5 image, I'm sure it would not look nearly as good.
No. But this is also just the tip of the iceberg for
It is.
DLSS 5. Because it's not just the character models that are different. I want to get to some, and that's why I'm using the Digital Foundry video. Okay, this specific example, DLSS 5 off, and this is a picture of Oblivion Remastered. It's like a little town square. You've got
great looking game.
Yeah, you've got some shops around the side and a big old tree in the center. That big old tree is casting a shadow on the ground. With DLSS 5 off, you can see the shadow on the ground. With DLSS 5 on, the shadow disappears.
And everything looks blown out, which has been one of the bigger criticisms of this.
It looks so bad. It looks like they jacked the brightness up, but they also remove dynamic lighting, dynamic shadows. One of the things that we've been using to highlight video game graphics since Splinter Cell on the original Xbox, this removes dynamic shadows.
They've made a point when this was first announced that it is mostly a lighting overhaul system. I want to be clear about this. This is horseshit. This is not what it actually is. It is generative AI. And when I'm sorry if I'm cutting ahead of what you want to talk about, Nick. We can go. I can slow down for now and come back.
Okay, because I know what you're getting at. I just wanted to show a couple more examples. This is an example of a guy in Starfield. His hat, again, has a nice dynamic shadow to it, and it just removes that. And it just blows out the brightness so fucking much. There's an Assassin's Creed Shadows example. It looks terrible. Off looks like really high-end graphics of Assassin's Creed Shadow. When you turn it on, it's just a blast of brightness that kind of washes out a lot of the detail. They remove the shadows from Assassin's Creed Shadows.
So I know some people can't really tell the difference between AI stuff, and I can't always, to be fair. You can do a lot of stuff to mask it. There is a certain shading whenever I see an AI picture that's generated.
Yeah, it's too
hallmark.
Perfect.
Oh, or it's
too uniform.
Yeah.
It's very flat, very samey lighting across the whole picture.
And kind of soft in a lot of ways. To me,
Instagram ready. It looks Instagram ready.
Yeah, that's got mentioned a few times too.
Yeah.
Every time I see these though, I have an instinctive reaction to already disliking AI. So I see this shading, this AI generative shading, and I immediately cringe. And that's my own personal hangups. Maybe people will like this. I hate this so much.
I mean, you say people could like this, but what it does to the environment. Oh, look. People want Grace to look sexy. People wanted all their characters to look sexy. They might like her in makeup. But you're looking at the environments and it looks like the brightness was just jacked up to a degree. I don't think who looks at this and goes, yeah, that looks better.
I look at the tree details, right? In this particular scene, there's a point where there's this individual tree in the middle of the frame. And I admit that the leaves and the lighting of the top of the tree look not bad. But the rest of the scene is destroyed to me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There are parts that make the lighting look realistic, but not without a complete loss of everything else.
Yeah. And so they came out, they put out this video thinking, hey, look at what DLSS 5 can do. And it was roundly rejected by everybody.
The memes
even
great.
AI proponents were like, this looks terrible. All except, ironically, Digital Foundry, which is whose video I'm looking at now. They were able to look at it ahead of time as a preview, and they came out kind of largely positive, though still talking about how, yeah, it could be controversial. And I think their reputation has kind of taken a real big hit because of that.
Good.
Here's why I could see why you're talking about how it being the brightness turned up.
Mm-hmm.
that when you increase the amount of detail within things that are darkened, then you can't actually see the amount of detail being increased. It's the tree falls in the forest kind of situation. If you have incredibly beautifully rendered leaves, but you can't see them because it's too dark, then why render the incredibly beautiful leaves? It's pointless. It doesn't happen. So they're increasing the brightness so that you can appreciate the increased detail. So it may be, and I'm playing devil's advocate, but they're increasing the brightness not necessarily as part of the DLSS, but because the DLSS is there, they can increase the brightness.
Like, sure, but there's a way to do it right and a way to do it wrong. I mean, ray tracing was the big buzzword in graphics a couple years ago, and that did make lighting look better. This undoes ray tracing. This is a step back from ray tracing and dynamic shadows. It's a step back from all of the graphical advancements we've had over the past decade.
I will say
they've reduced the contrast. I don't know if they've increased the brightness or reduced the contrast, but that ray tracing allowed you to have more dynamic contrast. And now this is actually, like I said, I don't know if they've increased the brightness or reduced the contrast. It flattens it because they want you to be able to see the increased detail. And it may just, I don't know if that's part of the DLSS or if that is a result of these videos being made to show you the detail that has been increased by the DL. We have to adjust the brightness so that you can see what we did. Because if we just show you what we did in the same brightness or the same contrast that it was before, then you're going to miss it. You're not going to see the difference. Anyway, moving right along. Go ahead.
Yeah. So after the internet roundly mocked this,
Google DLSS 5 memes. Just do it.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
It was gone.
Tom's Hardware talked with the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, who so remember when Sad Nutella was like, I want people to stop calling it AI slop. It's really changing the paradigm of thought, and we need to stop calling it slop. That's basically his response. He said, quote, well, first of all, they're all completely wrong. The reason for that is because, as I have explained very carefully, DLSS 5 fuses controllability of the geometry and textures and everything about the game with generative AI. It feels like he responded by a lot of the criticism was it looks like an AI filter. And he went on a pretty long rant about how it's not really just a filter. It's not a filter. Let's see. It doesn't change the artistic control. It's not post-processing. It's not post-processing at the frame level. It's generative control at the geometry level. All of that control is in the game developer.
Understand that one of the big criticisms for this is that it completely annihilates artistic intent. So his response to this was essentially that, oh no, it doesn't do that. It oh god. Okay, can't do that. You're distracting me, Edie. Shit. It's gone. It doesn't do that. It gives the people making it as a tool to create content control or controlled content generative AI. So people are like, it's just generative AI, it's a filter, it's everything that we've seen before that's really shitty. He's like, no. The people making the game get to choose to use this. And it's like that doesn't make it less generative AI.
Well, also, since then, Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming talked to developers at Capcom and Ubisoft whose games were used to show this off, and they were like, we didn't hear about this. We didn't know anything about this.
So he didn't work with the people who did this?
Yeah.
And apparently,
so the devs have full control, but they won't know about it.
I haven't found a definitive source for this, but I've seen many people comment that people who worked on this tech say it's just generative AI. It is simply that.
So in addition to all that, the YouTuber Daniel Owen talked to NVIDIA's Jacob Freeman. Okay, I don't know Daniel Owen.
He does a lot of comparison for hardware. Like, if you want to know like what graphics cards are good, like for what games, he does a lot of good stuff for that.
Okay. He talked to Jason Freeman from NVIDIA, who I think is like a PR person for NVIDIA.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. And Daniel asked him a lot of questions about the specific tech. And the answers kind of contradict everything Jensen Huang said. So one of the questions was, my biggest question is whether or not this model is effectively taking a single 2D frame as an input with motion vectors to create the output frame. This then relates to some clarifying questions about the information you provided. The answer is yes, DLSS 5 takes a 2D frame plus motion vectors as input. What that means... Yeah, okay, go on.
I was just going to say, essentially, it's the same tech that uses frame generation, but instead of using like the 3D vectors, like the 3D environment for frame gen, they basically just take a 2D still of the environment, and then create shit for it, and then put it out basically based on where they thought the motion was going to go.
And so that means that when Jensen Huang said that, no, this is what is it? AI, generative control at the geometry level. That's not true, because the AI isn't looking at any geometry. It's not looking at the character models. It's just taking a screenshot and interpreting that screenshot. So the interview continued. Daniel asked, you say the underlying geometry and textures are unchanged. Is the model actually aware of things like 3D geometry, 3D depth, or is it essentially just looking at a 2D image and then reinterpreting it, similar to taking a screenshot of a game and asking the AI model to enhance it to make it look more realistic? Answer. DLSS 5 is trained end-to-end to understand complex scene semantics such as characters, hair, fabric, and translucent skin, along with environmental lighting conditions like front-lit, backlit, or overcast, all by analyzing a single frame. He goes on to he goes on to ask about things like how oftentimes to get the texture of an artifact, whether it's a can, a pan, a rock, the model in the engine is marked with something to give it a texture. This is a metallic texture. This is a rough texture. This is a smooth texture. And he asks, does the DLSS 5 look at those tags for those textures to take as input? And the answer is no. It's just looking at the rendered frame. And no, the AI is smart enough. It knows exactly what the texture of that can is just by looking at the can. He goes on to ask about, how it changes the character model. And the answer he gets is that artists can use these controls to adjust blending, contrast, saturation, gamma, which, when you think about those things, those are all just lighting.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's
you do all in Photoshop.
Lighting, yes.
Right.
But also what that says, he talks about how ultimately we see DLSS 5 as a tool for them to achieve. Developers can mask specific objects or areas to be excluded from enhancement. But what that means is that by default, DLSS 5 will affect everything. And if you don't want it to affect some things, that adds a work pipeline. Mm-hmm. That means developers would have to have a specific artist to go in there and say, enhance this, don't enhance this, enhance this, don't enhance this. And for a tool that in theory is supposed to save developers time, no one is going to create that job. No one's going to hire an artist specifically, a DLSS 5 editor.
Yeah,
no one's going to hire that.
It doesn't create less work. All it does is create different work for a different person with different skills.
And so what that interview really showcases is that Jensen Huang's big pronouncement about how this is a really, it takes all this input to create something, in the artist's control is really all bunk. It's just looking at a screenshot and it's enhancing it from that screenshot with bad lighting. It changes the way a character looks. Kind of everything about this technology is a step backwards for video game graphics.
And this is called neural rendering, by the way. That is what they have given it the fun name of. So if you see neural rendering brought up, understand that it is this technology.
Yeah.
I just want to point that
of
out.
it.
Yes, just because it has
and
a
they
fancy
call it
name.
neural because of the way that the information is generated through a.
Here's the quote that he gives, that Jensen Hong gives in the interview to Tom's Hardware. All of that is in the direct control of the game developer. This is very different than generative AI. It's content control generative AI. That's why we call it neural rendering. Which doesn't really
snake oil. It's snake oil, guys.
Yeah. That makes no sense.
You want to know the cherry on the top for all of this, like
yes.
the big thing, the thing that no one says in any of these interviews. To do all of the things that they did for the showcase, it took two 5090s. If you don't know what that is, the 5090 is the highest grade consumer graphics card that you can buy with an MSRP of $2,000.
So $4,000 worth of graphic cards.
Right now, they're going for $4,000 to $6,000.
So $8,000
to $12,000
for shittier graphics.
Yes, it took two of these. And this is before we get into the fact that AI cannot be consistent. So say you run this on your game. Is your character going to look the same from one scene to the next? One lighting to the next?
That's a very good question. Never thought of that.
Because if it changes what they look like from the original source to the final image, what do they look like frame by frame?
Because each time they're going to go in and they're going to look at that information in a new light, and they're going to come up with something different, as I've known from asking it multiple times to generate for me a sad Nutella. It gave me a bunch of different sad Nutellas.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be tools to lock a certain image in. What if that fails halfway through your game? What happens if it just gets really wonky? This is terrible tech, guys. From the ground up, this is designing a tool for a problem that doesn't exist so that you can sell the solution.
Yeah.
Shitification. By the way, did you both watch the shitification video that was put out by the Norwegian government?
Yeah, we did.
Great.
Oh, go look it up right now. It's was put out by their.
What do you do? I make things shitty.
Eat shitty.
My father
eat shitty.
My father made things shitty before me. My grandfather made things shitty before him, and now I make things shitty.
That's a good video.
Yeah.
It's the Norwegian Consumer Council about essentially shitification and how creating problems, taking working things and making them crappier so that they can sell you services to make things or subscriptions to make things back to what they were originally. And this is a perfect example of that, is that they're telling you that you have a problem you don't have so that they can sell you a solution to this problem that doesn't exist.
And this is entirely a self-owned by NVIDIA. They have gone on the defensive saying this is early stages tech. It's early stages. It won't be out yet. This is just a test, blah, blah, blah. But it's not early stages.
They wouldn't put it out if it was early stages.
Well, you can't set DLSS 5. It's not actually out yet. This is all just a demo video. But they put out that demo video showing off what they thought were the best examples. And those are the examples that are being raked over the coals and mocked. So this is entirely their own problem of their own making.
This reminds me very much of that Super Bowl video with the AI will find your dog, and everybody's like,
"Oh yeah,
no!" Everybody's like, "Oh no!" And the tone, the failure to read the room that people might have a problem with this. That they were so proud, like, "Look what we can do! We can find your dog!" And they release it on a Super Bowl, had the most expensive possible way that you could do it, the most amount of reach, and have everybody go, "Hey, whoa, not okay." Clearly had not run it through anybody from the normal world that would have seen it first.
Tinfoil hat.
Please.
Sorry.
My favorite accessory. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
My favorite accessory
I
is a
interrupted
tinfoil
you
hat.
because I think you were getting. There's something I want to insert there. I think they do know. I think they knew exactly how the internet would react to this, because first one, calling it DLSS 5. Up until this point, DLSS has meant something. And we're at 4.5 right now. So 5 implies the next iteration of DLSS 5. This does not function in any way DLSS 5 does, or DLSS has done up until this point. So they gave it a name that has goodwill attached to it, to make people feel like, oh, this is where the future is going. 2, I don't think this is for the consumer. I think this is for publishing companies, big development teams, to showcase what he is trying to sell, which is a savings in the gaming pipeline. Because there is a cooldown in the AI market. Like, shit is happening that is like showing cracks. So what I feel like he is doing, even though this tech isn't ready, is being like, hey, big gaming corporations, let's just choose generative AI to make your games. Here's neural rendering, the tech we're currently working on, so that you'll invest in a couple years when we have this better in line to make it useful, so that we still can sell you graphics cards that are super high end after this bubble pops. And we will still have a market outside of data centers and ChatGPT and other AI sources. This way you can save money. It is a marketing pitch for the future to shore up problems with AI that's happening now. That is my tinfoil hat, and by using DLSS 5, they're marketing it as an extension of this already viable product.
I do think that part of this is, what do we do after AI? Because NVIDIA is a graphics card company. Graphics have kind of plateaued. And it takes a lot more work to get a much smaller noticeable difference out of video games. Crimson Desert is the only game, like, since the launch of the PS5, where I have felt like, oh, the PS5 is kind of showing its age. The PC looks better. I can actually see a difference. Okay, when the PS5 first launched, Demon Souls had a quality mode and a performance mode.
Right.
I turned them on side by side, staring at a wall, and I could not notice a difference between them.
Yeah.
With Crimson Desert, if I turn on quality mode and performance mode, I see a difference. So we're finally getting to a point, but it's so small. I think NVIDIA, they need a reason that you want to buy a 6010 or a 6090 and a 7090. And AI is now kind of the only reason to buy a graphics card, because the hardware isn't enough to pump out increases in performance and graphics. They need that AI. And this, I think that this is them trying to show there is still a market for our graphics card when the AI bubble pops. But I also think that the way people have soundly rejected it, I don't know if any publisher would look at that and go, yeah, we should invest in that. Because if we put this out, our game will be raked over the coals. Our game will be mocked.
I think to an extent, though, like, that only goes so far. I'm not sure how much, like, corporate bean counters actually care, like, how much that matters.
I think they do, because I do think that would affect sales.
Consider NFTs. Like, that fell out really quick, but Ubisoft, Square Enix, they were like, oh, we want to do NFTs, even though everyone was like, this was terrible. And if they can see potential savings in essentially using generative AI to create your games or the details in your games, I think that's what he's trying to sell to. Again, this is a tinfoil hat.
But I also feel like this particular feature, it's not really developer facing, right? This is saying, hey, we're going to take the game that you made and we're going to upscale it for the user. Like, this is assuming that users turn on DSSL 5.
Well, I mean, consider the way he said it in that interview, though. He never mentioned how it affects, like, this isn't something that the consumer turns on. It's a tool for developers to use to content control generative AI. So it seems like it's meant to be used in the development pipeline to, like, change things, to make things easier.
That's what he claims, but based on the Daniel Owens, was it Owens?
Yeah.
Based on that interview, we know that that's not actually the case, that it is just a filter.
Yeah.
It's just a 2D filter.
But I think DLSS, calling it DLSS 5 instead of just starting with neural rendering is kind of telling, and that they're using the name of their product that is currently in use.
Yeah, I think that shows a little bit of desperation. That I think they looked at this and went, if we just call it neural rendering, people will make fun of it. But if it's DLSS 5, let's hope that some of that goodwill transfers over into accepting this.
Either this or they have nothing. And
or they've all been so AI pilled that they love the slop.
Well, I mean, there's that. From what I've seen, like, I've seen people in comments claim to be it. I don't think they do. But I'm wondering if it's not that, then it's they have nothing else right now. Think about GDC. Think about the consumer trade show. It was a wet blanket. From everything I've heard, it was awful. There is nothing exciting to be had. If this is just...
Agreed. This is the first GDC I have ever seen that the most interesting thing came out of it that I saw was the robot dog. That's it.
Robot dog.
Yeah, they created a little AI puppy for people who are like elderly and need companionship, and it's cute, but it's an AI dog. Also, not the most original thing. That's the most interesting thing that came out of it.
Something I don't think that's gotten mentioned ever, really. I mean, when we talk about AI, we talk about like all the waste that's getting produced, all of kind of the resources that are going to this. But there is also a gigantic stagnation in any sort of true innovation outside of AI right now, to the point that if this bursts, we're 2-3 years out from like people making products that aren't AI related. Like, they have to start from the ground up and redo like their systems.
Yes, I agree. I think that's why Silicon Valley latched on to AI so tightly, because they latched on to the metaverse. That didn't work out. They latched on to NFTs. That didn't work out. They latched on to streaming, and unions were like, hey, fuck off. And then they latched on to AI, and AI actually had enough use cases to seem like it was a good idea. So they kind of just ran with it, because you're right. Silicon Valley largely has no other innovative ideas. There's no gadget. There's no new iPhone.
And also, this is considering the damage, like just an AI side point of like, I was reading reports that due to the DDR5 or the RAM shortage and crisis that we've been having, a ton of tech companies are going to be going out of business because they can't afford to produce the stuff that they were making because it's too expensive.
Yeah,
we are starting to see that in Silicon Valley. Not a lot of them, and certainly not a lot that has made news. But I'm starting to see companies that were smaller AI companies that were in offices that their offices are no longer around anymore, or that's like you're seeing for lease signs that weren't there a couple of weeks ago or a month ago.
I think he's also talking about
starting to happen.
MSI. MSI has come out in their financials and said, this is going to be a very tough year for us because we can't manufacture what we usually do.
Well, when you start seeing companies, I mean, this is kind of apples and oranges, but when you start seeing companies like Valve delaying entire product launches that are like, they launched it to wide acclaim, They literally have had people playing the demo, the actual box. The box exists. When you have major companies like Valve with more money than they know what to do with, and they are delayed by this, then you have to ask about companies that don't have the kind of deep pockets that Valve has, that don't have the leverage that Valve has, or any other company of that level. That the farther down the economic stratus you go, the more profound the problem is going to be.
Going back to DLSS 5 really quick, because there was something I wanted to mention, and based off of performance, right? So when talking about like DLSS 4 or DLSS 4.5, how that system works by lowering your resolution and then like using AI to upscale it. If you don't like understand what's happening, it sounds like that shouldn't give you more performance like it does, right? Like, hey, your graphics card's just like taking like lowering the resolution and then giving it to you back in a different way. But how you get performance out of that is there's two main things. First is when you when you output a frame, it is the entire like geometry of the world. It is all the physics and interactions that are in the space, and you have to put that all out like the hard way. When you downscale it, and so you get to add less of those details, and it makes it easier on the graphics card. The AI that it outputs it's guessing in a way that doesn't require the hard math of the physical space. It is essentially, it's, I guessing's the right word, but it's done really well. It is doing a different set of math, but not as compute intensive.
Yeah, it's like it's estimating instead of doing the actual math. It's not calculating all of the particle effects. It's calculating half of the particles and then just adding in another couple to make it look fuller.
Right.
Yes. So this gives you some performance back. And like the more you go down, the more it guesses. But to do this, graphics cards have the way a graphics card breaks down is not just like a bunch of like individual CUDA cores for NVIDIA, for instance. It is broken down to essentially you got CUDA cores, which is the stuff that does all the rasterization. Then you have, I believe it's called tensor cores, which handle ray tracing. So, and now the cards have AI cores on them, which handle all your AI stuff. So instead of like, I feel like they think that the CUDA core side of things is pretty much peaked. We can't really get much more performance out of a graphics card on a base raster level. So they added ray tracing. Ray tracing is great because it brings down the expected performance, and then they just added cores onto the graphic cards that are specifically designed to handle ray tracing to give you the best performance out of that. Again, people like ray tracing, but it feels like we caused a problem and sold you the solution. And now with AI, the cards have that whole segment on their board now that is just designed to handle DLSS and frame generation, and maybe someday DLSS 5 if neural rendering, despite my objections, takes off in whatever way. When we get future graphics cards, there's almost only so much physical space on the card itself. So my worry is we'll eventually get less and less raster performance for AI performance. And we will start to see a shift to basically just AI cards if this keeps up. I don't think it will, but like we would have.
Like why invest in hardware on the card that's doing the hard math and the hard processing when you could just add an AI core that can guess at that?
Yeah, or add generative AI in the way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what performance looks like for something like a 6070, which is the mid stack of their graphics cards. Is it just going to be primarily AI focused? Like, is that where we're heading? Or will NVIDIA try to do something like we developed a purely AI supplemental card that you're going to put into your PC?
I could believe that.
The reason I mention this is because we hear that this tech required two 5090s. The highest end graphics card, it's probably not very optimized yet, but that requires a lot of AI cores. And I'm worried about tech in the future just being like 50% AI that no one wants to use. Like, that's annoying to me. Sorry, I guess I don't have a point and I'm kind of trailing off. Does what I'm trying to say make kind of sense though?
Yeah,
like,
it's like this software could affect how the hardware is developed in the future.
And at least with DLSS, I can say there are performance gains. Like, that exists. I don't know if I can say that for something like DLSS 5.
Yeah.
What performance does this provide other than just like enhanced visuals?
When did the 5090 come out?
Last year.
Okay.
Okay. I think like November 2024.
Okay. And are they on like a 2-year cycle or what's?
So it used to be yearly, and then it was you would come out with a new generation, the 50 series, in this case. Then you'd run them for a year, and then at the end of the next year, you would come out with TIs, Supers, like mid-gen refreshes, kind of like a PS Pro, but with a graphics card. The 40 series, for instance, had the 4080, which was $1,200. Then they came out with the 4080 Super, that was just $1,000, but the same performance. So like the idea is just either more performance for the same price, or like same performance, less price. It's a mid-gen refresh. Then the next year would be new generation.
Okay, so then this year there might be a 5090 refresh, and 27 would have a 6090.
They said that this year they're doing no new graphics cards.
In fact, I think I remember hearing about that.
They not only are they not doing new graphics cards, they've pretty much stopped the production of a lot of mid-grade stuff. So currently it's 5090, 5080, 5070 Ti, 5070, 5060 Ti, and 5060, with a few versions of like 16 or 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Sorry if this is too much technical and I'm droning on.
No, not at all.
5090 is like 30% better than a 5080, and that's the biggest gap here. The 5080 is like 15% better than a 5070 Ti, and then it drops like 20%, like 30% again. So like they got rid of the 5070 Ti. They took essentially one of those whole brackets between the $550 MSRP that was supposed to be $750, and then the 5080 was $1,000. So they stripped that mid-range like option completely out, and they're just like, 5070, fine. 5080, I still think they're making them. They're now $1,500 on average. All graphics cards have gone up in price lately.
Yeah.
They've also stopped the production of the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, which was the higher VRAM that was like $50-$60 more than the 8 gigabyte version. Because like, you poors don't need more VRAM. We need that for our data centers. And so that one's gone.
They've and we had talked about this before. I forget what it was, but it's a price increase by stopping selling the cheaper versions. You're not increasing the price of anything, but you're stopping production on the cheap version, and that's essentially raising a price. So then when do you think we'll see news about the 6090 to see like what the hardware specs actually are?
When the bubble pops.
Okay.
They're
gonna ride this. They're gonna ride the 5090. They're just riding this wave. They're surfing on the 5090.
I don't think they have a choice. The reason I say that is because the only reason you don't come out with new graphics cards now is because you don't have any development to focus on it. All of their employees are working on AI. working on making graphics cards for consumers don't fucking matter anymore. It is straight selling to enterprise for their money.
Yeah.
They made, I think, what was it? 80 billion? Hold on. I need 1 second to look up the NVIDIA's earnings for this year.
I'll look it up for you.
They made an obscene amount of money. And they're really the only people making money in the AI space right now because they're selling hardware.
Total revenue hit 216 for all intents and purposes, $1 billion in fiscal 2026, which ended in January 2026. That's a 65% increase year over year. Data center revenue is 193 billion. And
so 193 billion out of what was it, 250?
215. 215.
So data center enterprise makes up 90% of their revenue for the quarter or the fiscal year. I forget which one.
No, for the quarter.
For the quarter.
Sorry, my bad. Fiscal 2026. So it was the year. So the fiscal year, 216 billion, and 194 billion of it was data center revenue.
We don't fucking matter.
So
we don't. Why do you make a new graphics card until the enterprise stops buying your AI cards that you're making now? You focus all efforts into maintaining your production as much as you possibly can. And I don't think they have a choice. Because until that pops, until enterprise no longer needs the cards in the quantities that they're getting it, they'll have no reason to innovate for a consumer graphics card.
That's true. And also, like, why sell to us when an enterprise will pay more?
Yes. Again, 193 billion of the 215 billion that they made in a year was data center. That is, what is it, 22 billion that they made everywhere else.
Yeah.
Not just consumer cards, everywhere else outside of data center.
Yeah. It does kind of put it in perspective, doesn't it? How little anything matters but this AI stuff.
They still care, partly because of culture. They want to be known as the computer graphics cards people, but also because I think Huang stays up at night sweating for whenever the foot drops. And he wants to be able to come back and be like, hey, everyone, we made the 6090. It's $1,000 and it'll give you better performance than a 5090. Come buy it. Like, he wants that bottom line to still be there. But right now, he can't focus any resources internally because it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. And he's not wrong. He knows that this is a bubble. He absolutely positively knows that everybody knows that it's a bubble, but his entire company's being is riding on this bubble. So he's got to be ready for the minute that this starts to turn. He's got to be ready to be light on his feet and be able to pivot. So yeah, you're right. It probably does keep him up late at night.
I think he's literally losing it. Like, some of the interviews I see, some of the stuff I've seen, he's losing it. I think he's so stressed.
I mean, no matter what happens, NVIDIA the stock would crash. The value of the company would crash.
Yes.
Even if it goes back to what it was before, that's a very big come down from where it is now.
You can also see this in the fact of where he's pivoting for his next venture, which is the Pentagon. He's been sucking up to Trump so hard. Every time he's in front of the camera, he's like, he's the smartest man. He knows what he's doing. And he's doing it because he wants government contracts. Because if he can get in on the government side of things, things are slow to change. They order in bulk. And he will be secure for at least a couple more years. And on top of that, he's also been working with, I want to say, Peloton, which is it's a AI surveillance company, essentially.
Palantir, not Peloton.
Oh,
yeah, Palantir. Yeah.
Okay, yes, yeah.
Terrible with names.
Yeah. Peloton is the exercise bike.
Yeah,
Peter Thiel's company.
Yes, and he's been getting in with them to try to essentially find alternative sources of sales once the enterprise stuff kind of dries up.
Makes sense. Yeah, you sell all the AI to the surveillance company.
Yep, or the government, and they got contracts for it now.
Yeah, he's not a fool. He knows that the opportunity is had, that he's making hay while the sun shines. Unlike many people, knowing that this one day it's going to rain, and what's your rainy day plan? And all of this stuff that he's doing is just a plan B for when the end happens, that can get him somewhere safe to bridge them until the next sunny day, whatever that sunny day might be. It might be robots. It might be, predicting. It might be the zombie apocalypse, and he'll go into making shotguns. Who knows? But it's just to get him to that next opportunity.
And you're right, Nick. The stock will crash. It will not. It is not worth what it is now, like in real term values. But I think he's hoping for a gentler, like, drop off rather than a cliff.
Come down.
I think he's doing it, and I think this is also another version of that with the DLSS 5. Is if AI drops out once the government contracts run out and they no longer are taking graphics card for their AI systems because they found out it sucked or the president changed, then he'll have DLSS 5 to pitch neural rendering, to pitch the savings to development companies. They buy like large stocks of graphics cards because you're going to need them to use the neural rendering, and then finally we're back down to consumer. That's a bit of more of a tinfoil hat, but that's my speculation with no knowledge in this stuff outside of what I've seen.
If AI people pedal for its energy, that would be something.
Yeah.
If you actually signed a deal with Peloton, all of the workouts we do contribute to AI's energy.
Oh, is that a Black Mirror episode? I'm pretty sure that's a Black Mirror episode.
That could be. Man,
if you want something that is going to put a shot of reality, like a shot of absolute fear into you, and not just irrational fear, but like, the math kind of situation. Watch the first 15 minutes of Bill Maher from this week, where what was the name of the guy? He did something, how I became an apocalyptimist. It is a documentary called The AI Doc, or How I Became an Apocalyptimist. And
is that I'm optimist for the apocalypse?
Yes, that I see the apocalypse coming in it, and I think that they introduced that he had in an interview, very short interview with Daniel Rohner, who is director of this movie, and talking about how, if you look at the amount of money that has been put into AI, just do the strict math, how they could possibly make this profitable. They can't unless they eliminate like, if you try to sell it to, like all the obvious things, government. Okay, well, that's not enough money to cover the cost. Okay, sell it to game companies. That's not enough money with that still to not pay off the cost. The only way to make this work is to eliminate the human being out of the job market. And that becomes the number one GDP, not human beings, but AI. And if that happens, then the government has if you're going to put money towards something, and the most amount of profit that you can make out of it is either like AI or humans, and you can get more money, more bang for your buck out of AI, you are going to be putting it toward AI. You're going to be putting it towards that development. And really, it is a self-feedback loop into eliminating everything. And I think that they know, NVIDIA knows that that's where this is happening, and they're not the people that are shaping this policy. They're profiting off it for the moment, but they see what's coming. Well, even if the general population doesn't quite yet figure out what's coming.
the only company actually profiting from the AI boom.
It's because they sell the shovels. Like it's been
Yes.
brought
They
up.
sell the shovels. Right. But the thing is that the
OpenAI
people that are running the shovels are digging a hole into the center of the world, and they know that the shovels that they're selling, they're the ones that are going to cause the lava to come up and kill everybody. But it's like,
I'd probably
what
say
do we
that's just
do?
what is it? When somebody
Analogy?
no. The people who like invest money, venture capitalists, they're the people who are buying the shovels right now. And
yes, they're buying the shovels and handing it to people who are thinking that they're going to be one of the 2 or 1% of the human beings on the earth who are not going to be eliminated from their jobs. So you have people that are just slaving away because they figure that they're going to be the ones that are going to be on the shuttle to Mars.
See,
owned by Elon Musk. And the thing is, they're not.
I don't think it ever gets that far. AI doesn't function well enough to eliminate jobs in the way that it does. In fact,
all comes down to economics. Ask yourself, how can AI possibly be profitable given how much money has been invested into this? And the only way that it can be profitable is that it becomes the thing that the government makes more money on. You make more money on AIs in this United States or any country. More money on AI. The same thing that would happen in Africa with like oil. When oil started to become more profitable than humans in other countries, the government put all of their money towards oil.
Yeah, but like
that's
oil
what's going to
is
happen
useful.
now.
So my point being that
right, exactly. But you're going to have people that can't afford to exist.
No, but
and that's going to be a problem.
I think I know what you're getting at, Andrew. And I think the point of Edie is that yes, the AI is not actually good enough to replace all the people, but that doesn't matter because it's being sold to the business leaders who want to try to save money and will only realize after the fact that they made a mistake. And so
I think that's where we're at now. Like
yes,
they've done
that is where we're at now,
and we're crashing up. So from what I don't have like direct links for this, but I've seen reports that first of all, AI has not replaced almost any job. Like there's been a lot of fear that this would happen, but it's just not the case. But also, the job market right now is stagnant. It is low at 4% unemployment. However, no one is getting fired and no one is hiring. So anyone coming into the work market right now, anyone below 25, is having a hell of a time finding any kind of work. And I think part of this is there is a tension in the market that people know that all of the money that has been put into AI has stopped growth in other places so they can't hire, but also when it crashes, there will be an economic backlash so strong that they don't want to be holding the bag of hiring new people. So we are having a stagnation in the job market because everyone is afraid.
Like everyone hired during COVID, everyone hired. There's a big boom in hiring. Everyone got laid off, and now people like, well, when we do have money because we're not spending on AI, we could hire more people, but we don't want to hire more people now because then we might have to fire them. We don't know, so let's just like do nothing.
You might argue that the AI crash has already happened, if that's the case, because that means that there is a global recognition that it's going to crash. We just don't know when.
I'd say the U.S. in particular, because I don't know about the other.
U.S. Yes, but we know that it's going to crash. I think that is a universal, and arguably that means the crash has happened. We are in the early stages of it. It's the early stages of it. We all know it's right. Exactly. If you know the explosion is about to happen, whether it's 3 seconds from now or 5 seconds from now or an hour from now, then the explosion process has already begun.
Oh, I would say that's true. I would say that it is crippled. It's breaking under its own weight right now.
Right.
But
We
when
know
it
the
crashes,
bomb is going to explode, and the fact that everybody knows that the bomb is going to explode means that the bomb is in the exploding process.
It is, but
happening.
it hasn't gone off yet.
It hasn't
I
gone
think
off yet,
and
but
that's the
everybody
important
knows
point.
it's going to go off.
Everyone
So we're
Sure.
all running. We're in the evacuation stage.
and
But
so
we're not in the evacuation stage.
no,
People
we're
are
in the
still
hold.
investing. People are still investing in AI.
It slowed down a
People
lot.
are still investing. Yeah, but it's as you said, you pointed out a very good indicator. The economy has stagnated, other than the other stuff that's happening that's
The
causing
economy.
the economy to go
Okay,
down.
I want to be very clear.
A hiring economy.
Yes,
Yeah.
GDP is growing, and it is not a good indicator of how we're doing.
No, but
on the
unemployment
hiring
sides, no new jobs are being created. No new jobs are being lost. It's kind of been this and you're right, for a really long time, it's been this, which is not very indicative of everything else that's been going on in the economy, which has been very, very dynamic. Costs of gas have gone up. Costs of food have gone up. Costs of healthcare have quadrupled. And yet hiring.
Yep. In fact, from what I saw,
means
the only
that everybody's holding their breath going,
yep.
It's a breath hold.
But yeah.
You said the only place.
Oh, I think it was like medical industry stuff has been growing, and I think apparently it's called from Philip Franco show. He just did a Friday show where he's going over a lot of this economy stuff, and we would have lost 400 jobs if not for the fact that like stuff in the medical field was still hiring, like nurses, certain things like in that field. I'm worried, but this is a podcast about games, and we veered far off into the economy, but that's because games are all about the economy.
Games are the economy. It's all linked, man.
It is inexorably connected. When it's all connected down to AI and what's going on with AI and what's going on, and games are the forefront of how AI is being used and implemented. Arguably, this is the AI podcast when you start talking about what happened with Krafton. When AI, it is, isn't it? Isn't it?
I just realized that this was like 90% AI talk. And
well, it's interesting too because both these stories kind of point out the limits of it, and it's
the limits of the actual technology, but then that's different of the actual impact on our lives, which is outsized by that
limit, and it's the way it's perceived in larger culture. The fact that someone relied on it and failed and now has to pay like $250 million. It's a very big public failure of AI. The backlash to DLSS 5 is like I said, even people that like AI were negative on this. Like it's a universal backlash to the AI aesthetic, not the use of it, but like
it's a cultural hit to, like you're saying, a cultural hit to AI.
Both of these are deeply big cultural impacts to AI, which is like a significant turning point.
I'd be interested. This year is going to be a wild one. No matter what happens, we have midterms coming up. We have the AI market. We have other political stuff that I won't mention because I don't know how YouTube reacts to stuff like that, but stuff that's happening in the Middle East. This year is going to be crazy. I'm tired of once in a lifetime events. I want to live in precedented times.
I want to live in boring times.
Just let me play my fucking games.
Yeah. That's how like the first 35 years, 40 years, well, actually 50 years of my life was that. It's pretty boring.
I mean,
let's end on some good news.
Absolutely ignore everything and just play video games and you were fine.
All right.
Give us 2 bits.
Just 2 bits?
We're at 3.5 hours, Edie.
2 bits or 2 bytes? I know. We need to go. Unionized game workers launch petition to protect immigrants from ICE agents.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And then I also had a short story. I didn't put anything on it, but Sony is issuing refunds for people that spent money in High Guard.
What?
Damn
And
it. Okay.
It's not clear. Unasked for refunds. Someone was like, on the Kotaku article, someone was like, no, I spent $20 on a skin as like a thank you to the developer. I wasn't expecting a refund, but the money's credited back to my account.
Honestly, I think that has bigger implications because twice now Sony's had to refund for Concord and now High Guard. I'm wondering if they're going to be more particular about third-party live service competitive games in particular.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually, I think, a big deal because Sony hates issuing refunds.
Oh, yeah, there isn't an official process for it. So the fact that they did this on their own when no one else did, it's like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah. Side note, also, apparently Atlas to raise salaries and reduce fixed overtime.
Yeah,
Atlas
that's
is the company that does Persona 5, Meadow, Phantasium. That
Metaphor Refantasio. It's not that hard of a title.
Okay. A lot of anime games like that. Fuck yeah. Considering it's a Japanese company, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. The work culture in there is rough. So that's good to hear.
All right, my only item. There were comments that were made by I want to say Strasselnik. No, it wasn't.
I don't believe this.
Was it? Well, here's and I'm bringing this up simply because son of a bitch, I got rid of the
so comments reveal GTA 6 price may be $80. Popped up on the screen. She's going to get into it. I just wanted to say it's a...
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. So there was an interview with somebody with, I want to say Take-Two, and they were talking about having to pay for the, having to pay interstitial program or advertising within video games. And the discussion kind of turned to, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, God damn it. Why don't I have it here? Anyway, I guess I closed the one time I didn't copy and paste the notes and I closed the screen. So there was discussion about advertising within games when somebody actually purchases the games. And the quote was along the lines of, hey, if somebody pays 70 or 80% or sorry, 70 or $80 for a game, we're not going to, in GTA 6, we're not going to put ads in the game on top of that. Yeah, we're going to put ads in places where it makes sense. Like we will advertise NBA 2K inside for example, in an auditorium where somebody's playing basketball, there'll be ads there, but we're not going to put unnecessary ads in a game where a game costs $70 to $80. Which of course turned the internet going, GTA 6 is going to be $80.
To be fair.
No, that's 70 to 80. That's the typical. You got standard edition for 70. You got the deluxe edition for 80. You got some sicko edition for 120.
I will say that
that's exactly what the game is going to cost.
I don't want real ads in GTA 6 because ads have always been a part of the satirical.
They're made up ads.
Yeah,
right down to Laszlo.
I actually don't mind real ads in games if like you're playing a game that has a billboard with a real life thing when the world is the real life. I'd actually find that interesting to see the ad change from time to time.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be cool.
Remember when like Burnout Paradise had something like that? And
not just because I want to be advertised to, but it would make the world feel more organic and changing. So, but GTA 6, the satirical nature of it, like, try your anal blaster 5000, like
right, yeah, exactly. That's where it's GTA 6 kind of has to put us into a hole of that, of like where the whole, like I said, satirical nature. It's supposed to be kind of over the top, irreverent, kind of gross, kind of vulgar.
So
GTA.
What you're saying is every single ad in GTA 6 is going to be about AI.
Oh, yeah. Oh my.
I am single one. It's going to be order flowers using AI. Help your pet using AI.
You order a car online on your phone and like you do it with AI and it just sends you the wrong car.
Oh, that would be great. Because like you could, that's right. In GTA, you could use your phone to
That's
like
right.
call
You
in
order a car.
cars.
Yeah.
Oh, if AI and it sends you a different car. I want a tank. Here's a sedan.
Here's a Prius.
You go to the phone to
Here's
do
a
a
camouflage
support ticket.
Prius.
They let you do a support ticket to try to get the right car in the game on the phone, and it just sends you to an AI chatbot.
Oh, that would be
That would be
too
very
accurate.
GTA.
Real life though, I think they could charge $100, and GTA 6 would still sell more than any other game that year. This year,
Oh
if
yeah,
it comes out.
no question.
I maybe they won't, because it would cause a little bit of backlash.
They won't. They will not. It will be $70
I
with
agree.
higher prices for
Yep.
special.
I'm
editions.
saying they could.
Agreed.
It is the one property that I think if they sold it at 100, they would get away with it.
That's the only one in the world.
Agree.
And this quote, I mean, if you're going to read anything off of this quote that other people are, I mean, I literally saw the article was confirmation that GTA will be $80. No, there's nothing confirmed about the price of GTA.
Clicks.
Right.
He
2, not confirmation. 3, it's probably, I think if you were going to read anything out of this quote, the thing you should read is it's going to be priced like every other fucking AAA game.
Yeah.
Also,
period.
I never thought I would say these words, but kudos to Strauss Zelnick for having a rational take on AI. The headline in the link that AC Wraith put up there is the notion that AI can make GTA is laughable. He expands on that by basically saying, no, it's a tool. You might be able to use the tool to make a game, but that's not going to guarantee you a hit. Like you can't do AI can't make GTA. He's the man who like loves and gets hard at the idea of microtransactions in 2K, the basketball games. I gotta give him kudos for like having a smart take on AI, for like being rational about it.
Didn't he say like he wished he could sell games based on value per hour and not like at a fixed price? Wasn't he the one who said that? Where he's like, GTA would be a $150 game compared to other AAA games.
No, wasn't that Randy Pitchford?
I don't know. No. I wouldn't put it past him. I just know that he has stuffed the 2K basketball games with so many microtransactions and
sports games is a terrible industry right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm interrupting.
No, that's
anyway.
It.
That was it. That was the only thing I had. Was that it? That was just take with a grain of salt anything you see about the price of GTA 6. The price of GTA 6 has not been confirmed. And if you were to read any confirmation out of anything that came out of that recent interview, it's that if it were going to be, it's going to be like every other game.
The only
or not, we don't know.
The only in the news story that I saw that I just think is worth mentioning to you, Edie, more layoffs at Crystal Dynamics.
Are there really?
Chris got out at the right time. He got on the raft boats of the Titanic.
Yeah. Women and children first, and
he was the women and children. He was the women and the child, both of them. Yeah. Yep. No, I have said to him, turned to him multiple times and said to him,
fourth round of layoffs in a year
was the best one. So how many people lost their job? I did not hear about this. How many people?
I didn't see. It was like 20 or so.
Here's the thing.
There's not many left.
Okay, like I have to go at some point, but
yes, that was my last thing. That was
I know, but I have news on that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Side note, I think it's from that thing that you sent. I love a good 3-hour podcast. 4 maybe a bit much for me. But based off that article, it was that. So the thoughts are Amazon is pulling back because Crystal Dynamics is making the Tomb Raider remakes currently.
Yeah.
And they haven't shown anything for like 7 years since they were announced.
They showed a little bit at the Game Awards.
Yes. But Amazon Gaming, they pretty much are shutting like that whole division down. And they were funding the Lara Croft remakes. So they had not come out and said that they weren't going to keep paying for that, but I'm guessing that the money is drying up from Amazon for those projects, and they're slowly laying off staff to try to keep afloat to see if they can get it out the door before they have to lay off their entire staff. And if they do get it out the door, that means they can get a paycheck from that and then fire everyone. Like, not the people who are making the game. Like, Crystal Dynamics could make a paycheck out of all the people that they were employing, kick them to the curb, and then make the money from the games.
It's the burn rate, but the burn rate is actually people and not money.
Yes. Huh. That's my thought about how that's going down. Because I
will pose that to the resident expert, and I will get back to you on his opinion of that.
Okay.
But all right, let's come to the end of the show. One thing before I leave the end of the show, and this is everybody out there that's listening right now. If you could do me a favor, and this is a personal favor, if you are into sports at all, even if you're not into sports, I would like for you to go to this link right here. Let me get to it. Stand by. See this link right here?
No.
I do not see a link. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Okay.
Look for the Nick Watkins Show. Nick Watkins Show.
The link is www.youtube.com.
Well, yeah, and just look for the Nick Watkins Show. And do me a favor and subscribe and like it. The reason why, that is, I'll call him my nephew. This is the son of a friend of mine from high school who, unbeknownst to me, has had a daily sports show. He's 22. He's been doing this for quite some time. He's got something like 600 episodes, which means he's been doing this for 2 years, pretty much. And he has just applied to become the clubhouse manager for the Oakland Ballers baseball team, which is the Oakland's minor league team. And I want to see if I can actually boost up his numbers so that when the Oakland Ballers sees the Nick Watkins Show, they can actually see that he has a lot of people that will follow him. So do me a favor. Go to the Nick Watkins Show and follow it. You can also follow him on Spotify and on Twitter. I'm not going to call it X. It's Twitter. Always will be Twitter. But just look up the Nick Watkins Show. If you feel like listening to it, listen to it.
Okay.
You have to do the whole thing, Nick Watkins Show, because there's a Nick Wilkins with like 7 million subscribers that keeps popping up. If you just type in Nick Watkins, it does not pop up.
Yeah, you need to do Nick Watkins Show. Actually, I should be absolutely clear. It is the Nick Watkins Show. And if you're watching this or if you're listening to this as a podcast, would not mind if you did that either too. It would help out a kid who's trying to get his foot in the door in sports, in Major League Sports. And this is all he's ever wanted to do since he was a little kid. And he is the smartest baseball person I know, including Chris. So, yeah. And if you like baseball, if you like basketball, he knows he can speak authoritatively on all of that far better than most, let's just say. All right. Cool. So anything else before we close out the show?
No.
Help.
No.
So there was
but help.
I don't know. Have you seen the latest Star Wars news?
Yes. Let's talk about
it. How the tables have turned. How many times did you keep me on this show longer than I wanted to be? Sucks,
it is hot. I got to go turn on the AC.
All right. So let's close this out.
Shepherd.
You've been listening to GameHounds episode 813. We did record this on Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola and Andrew Gracia Chaos Smith. Ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is our website. GameHounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you would love to join us, we would love to have you come join us live. If you are listening to us as a podcast, or if you listen to us live and you couldn't do it possibly next week, go ahead and listen to us as a podcast. We do release this as a podcast on Apple Podcast, on iTunes Podcast. Please find us, like us, and if you listen to us there, please leave us some feedback. Very much helps us, helps other listeners, and more importantly, it helps the algorithm find us so we can be recommended to others. So take a moment and do that. We would be deeply appreciative. Other things that you could do to make us deeply appreciative. We are 100% podcast funded. No, we do not accept corporate sponsorship because I don't know that they'd even want us if they could have us. But if you want to spend $1 a month to help us offset the cost of some of the subscriptions that we need in order to do this show, patreon.com/GameHounds. Please, please, please go over there. It's all we ask, $1 a month, 25 cents a show, more or less. Actually, just less. It's 25 cents a show or less. And we would very much appreciate it if you could do that. Another way to actually help our show, or to help yourself if you want to connect with us after the fact, during the week, whenever, find out when we have updates or when we're going to be live streaming, go to our Discord. Our Discord channel information will be on the screen if Nick can support me on this and put the Discord information on the screen right now. Now, if you are listening as a podcast or going to anywhere on any of the live shows, our Discord information should be in the description if it's not there on the screen. You had it. You were good. You were good. Leave it there. Nick, just leave it. Jesus, effing Christ, let's leave it. All right. This is what I have to do with. Surrounded by amateurs. Have a great week, everyone. We will talk to you next week. And remember, we will not have a show on the 14th. We may not have a show next week either. We will talk about that. It will be information in the Discord.
We went from there might be no show this week to this is the longest show we've had.
Exactly. Have a great week, everyone. Bye, Nick. Bye, Cass.
Oh.
Thank you. Bye. 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 Thanks for being on the show. Bye.
By Andrew. I use your real name because I care. You can't shut me up. I will talk forever. Never.
Just shut up.
Freedom of speech. Freedom. Freedom.
Bye.
Freedom.
Make it shitty.
Make it shitty.
All right. Chaos. So they're it's like in Arizona, it's like super, 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 super hot right now. And they're playing spring training, and they have the AI like the AI umpire that a pitcher or a batter can actually call and say, hey, I want that reviewed. And the AI will look to see if it was a strike or a ball. So Giants were playing yesterday, and it's something like 2 billion degrees, and it's a very, very long game, and it's the last out of the game, and the guy has 2 strikes on him, and a pitch is thrown, and the umpire calls it a ball, right? Umpire calls it a ball, and the pitcher kind of motions that he wants it reviewed by the AI to see if it might have been a strike, and the umpire his mic was still hot, and his umpire's going, please be a strike, please be a strike, please be a strike. He'd called it a ball accurately. It turns out that because of the fact that it was a bajillion degrees and he wanted the game to end, you could hear him go, please be a ball, please, or please be a strike, please be a strike, please be a strike, please be a strike.
Yeah, I was playing into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a please be a strike kind of moment. All right. We'll talk to you later. By the way, did you notice my headset is now all of a sudden not crackling?
I mean, it is a little bit, but no, it was near as bad as it was.
No, now you're just hearing. I don't know what was going on.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Randomly.
Toxic
Edie,
Commando. Yes.
Mobile game.
Yes.
Ballix Pit. Get it. Thank us later.
Yes.
Okay. Ballix Pit is it? Toxic Commando?
Yeah.
I have to go. Unfortunately.
To go where?
I had plans for today that I'm deeply behind on now. I know. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person. I will not be on the podcast again. I am being fired. So.
No, you don't have to go to work. You're not late for work, are you?
No, I'm saying.
No, other things.
I'm saying you gave me this look that was like, this bitch.
Oh no!
He's no
I was
longer
actually
welcome
reading.
back.
I was reading AC Ray's comment down there, so I wasn't sure what's going on. All right,
Okay,
all right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We will talk to you possibly next week. Are we doing next week?
I think so.
If I can be here.
It might just be you and Andrew, if that's the case, because I am going out. Let me think. Let me look. So next week is. Oh, the 29th. Yes, we're fine on the 29th. It's the 5th and the 12th that's going to be a problem. So, yeah, we're fine next week.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5th and the 12th is because next week is Easter. Anybody have a problem with
that? No.
No.
All right, cool. Happy Easter. Everyone, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.